Lansing's only sports station. The Game, 7:30.
Let's play.
Thank you and good evening. Welcome to another exciting season of high school football. Here on the Game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage. We are brought to you all season long by Dowding Industries, recognizing the effort and commitment athletes give to the sport of football, and by the Greater Lansing Sports Authority. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater. Find out more at lansingsports.org. I am Brock Palmbush, and we got a big hour and a half coming up as Holt visits Mason tonight in the battle for the Cedar Street Trophy, a game that was originally scheduled for 7 o'clock. Well, it's going to be a little bit longer because of the hot weather. It's been moved back to 7:30, so we have a little bit of an extended pregame show, but we've got our regular interviews. We have interviews with Chad Falk, the 9th-year head coach for the Holt Rams, and that's followed by my interview with the 7th-year head coach for the Mason Bulldogs, Gary Houghton, then my two-part interview with Brian Calloway, the prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal and LSJ.com, and then Eric Docklove will join me from Mason High School for the big battle for the Cedar Street Trophy, Holt at Mason. But right now it's time for the season premiere of This Week in High School Sports, hosted once again by John Ross.
Welcome to the 2023-24 school year, and welcome back to This Week in High School Sports. We'll be with you for the next 26 weeks, getting you caught up on the biggest stories from across the state in the high school sports world. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. The start of a new year brings a lot of questions, especially for the families of freshmen or students starting their first year of high school in Michigan. Who plays who? What was the score of last night's game? What are people talking about? Just what is going on here? Well, there's an easy way to find out the answers to all of those questions and more. Make sure you check out MHSAA.com. The site was redesigned a year ago, and now MHSAA.com sees over 10 million visits annually. It's the best place to go if you're looking for a score, a schedule, a story, NPR rankings, and more. Plus, it's been optimized for mobile use, which makes submitting scores on a Friday even easier. Looking to connect on social? We have you covered there as well. The MHSAA's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X accounts are all updated throughout the week with important news for everyone involved in high school sports. Follow us and stay current with all the happenings from around the state. The first week of action is in the books, and with that brings us our first game balls of the year. Pinckney's Evan Lofwright started the cross-country season out with a win. The senior was first in a dual meet with Brighton, but Brighton came out victorious on the team side. Ellie Wilcox helped lead Boyne City to a Pelston Invite volleyball title. The Ramblers were perfect on the day, winning all 6 matches and 12 sets they played in. And to Muskegon Reese Puffer's senior Liam Smith, he poured in 4 goals in an 8-0 season-opening soccer win over Ludington.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Director of Officiating Services, Sam Davis.
The first week of high school football season is always exciting and sometimes confusing. Here are some, not all of the differences between the high school game and what you see on Saturdays and Sunday. In high school, there's no such thing as an uncatchable ball when judging pass interference. It is a penalty if there is illegal contact, whether the ball is catchable or not. In overtime, high school teams start with the ball on the 10-yard line, not the 25 like in college. And in high school overtime, you're only able to get a first down via penalty. And at no time is a high school team required to go for 2 points. And on extra point plays, if the defense gains possession, the try is over. The defense cannot return the ball for 2 points.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. All summer long, MHSAA.com has highlighted former high school standouts who have used past athletic experiences to help shape their post-high school lives. The series is called Made in Michigan and provides updates on some familiar names. Like Brent Gates, the current baseball coach at Grand Rapids Christian, was a two-time All-State selection on the diamond at Granville. He played at the University of Minnesota before the major leagues and now has led the Eagles to 3 baseball state titles. Or Ariel Breaker, the current assistant basketball coach at the University of Minnesota. She helped Grosse Pointe North win a Class A state title in 2008. A 3-sport athlete at GPN, she finished 3rd for the 2010 Miss Basketball Award, and she played collegiately at Notre Dame before coaching at Lehigh, Oakland, South Dakota, and West Virginia, and now with the Gophers. To get caught up on all the Made in Michigan stories, check out MHSAA.com. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
WVFN.
Welcome back to the pregame show. Joining us now, the 9th-year head coach for the Rams of Holt High School. He's Coach Chad Falk. Coach, thanks so much for joining us once again.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to be on with you. I mean, if we're on with you, that means we're doing something right.
You were 7-4 last year. Not the greatest record, but you won a co-championship of the CAAC Blue with Grand Ledge. You beat East Lansing in Week 9 at home to clinch a share of the title. You beat Grand Ledge during the regular season, but they got you in the playoffs. Losing 33 seniors off of last year's squad, man, that's a lot of seniors. So consequently, you got a pretty young squad here.
We do, and that 7-4 record's a little deceiving.
Right.
In the 30 years I've been around here, that's, talking with staff, I think that's probably the toughest schedule we've ever had here at Holt. 6 of the teams we played made the playoffs. 5 of them were playing after week 2. So to go 7-4 with that many good playoff teams on your schedule, we thought we were pretty proud of that schedule. Especially with the teams that you play in that regular season, like the East Lansings, the Grand Ledges, all those schools. Last year, Grand Ledge felt unstoppable when they were on offense. I think the least amount of points that someone held them, even when Grand Ledge lost, they still scored 28 points, and we were able to hold them to 27 in 2 games combined. So, after those first 2 games where we struggled a little bit last year, we turned it around and we're able to pull some things off. But, those 33 guys are gone, and now you've got a lot of young guys that need to step up and learn some spots.
Seneca Moore is gone. Isaiah Foster is gone. Bryce Cornelius is gone. All right, who are the guys that are going to step up? Who's going to be the quarterback for you? Let's start there.
Well, starting at quarterback, we're going to have Cooper Benson. He's going to be a junior. Last year, he was actually our practice player of the year last year. He's just a hard-nosed kid, and coming into camp, we didn't know if he was going to play quarterback, if he was going to play linebacker, if he was going to be a fullback, a tight end. But he's really emerged as that leader and is controlling the offense pretty well. That he was the clear-cut favorite to be the head guy there. With such a young team and him taking the leadership role. We only have 2 offensive starters returning. In fact, we only have 2 offensive starters 2 starters returning altogether. We have 0 on defense and only 2 on offense. 2 of those guys that are returning though are on the offensive line, and they're both only juniors. So we'll have them for another year as well. But just a lot of young guys, and this year, and more than any of the other years I can remember, the growth that we had from the first day of practice till today has just been astronomical. I feel like as far behind as they were being so young, on the first day of practice, we've already got as much offense in now as we did with all those other teams. Now we just got to start perfecting it and making it a little bit better, but, we're getting there pretty fast.
Chad Falk, the ninth-year head coach for Holt, joining us here on the pregame show. Coach, you talked about it, 0 returning defensive starters. Who are some guys that we should be listening for?
Well, I mean, we joke around with 0 returning starters, but last year we only had 2 returning starters on defense, and it ended up being a pretty good defense for us last year, too.
True.
Like last year, though, we had a lot of guys that were kind of sitting behind, waiting for their turn, and I think those guys will get that shot here this year. Maddox Wright is a guy who's taken over for Carlos Speed, about the same size and just as athletic, and he's going to get a shot to really show what he can do. Tonight it's going to be really, really hot, but he's got to go both ways and see if he can battle that a little bit. So we've been working him there. But Justin Harris will go in and play some more on the defensive line. Our linebackers are young, but we've got Aaron Shesky in the middle. He's going to be a junior. He's really embraced that idea of being that leader of the defense and just doing all the things he's got to do outside of practice to really make himself better. We've also got a lot of sophomores starting in that backfield. A free safety, Michael Amory is going to be a guy who's going to be around for 3 years, and I think he could be pretty special. LaDon Hatcher is going to play the corner. He's also going to start at tailback, and I think, he's going to be really special as well. Another guy we're going to have around for 3 years, and another guy we're going to have around for another 3 years is Ethan Melville, who's going to start at the strong safety for us. So, we're excited to see what they're going to do. We might take some lumps this year and as they learn, but I think they're at the way they're learning at an accelerated pace. I think we'll be okay, down the road. If we can trip some guys up along the way, I think we got a shot there too.
Chad Falk, ninth-year head coach for the Holt Rams, joining us on the pregame show. Well, you got a tough test, to say the least, in week number 1. You got to play one of your big rivals, the Bulldogs of Mason, 12-1 last year, state semifinalists in Division III the last 2 years. You beat them for the Cedar Street Trophy 2 years ago, but they got you back at Holt last year, winning 35-12. This is an outstanding team. They've got almost everybody back from the last couple of years, and they're led by their terrific junior quarterback. A lot of people like him, Kason Carswell. He's basically almost a full 2-year starter heading into his junior year this year. He started as a freshman.
Yeah, they're pretty loaded. They got a lot of guys back, but you said it at the beginning there. It's a rivalry game, and we've learned a lot by playing Grand Ledge all these years. It never really matters what your record was or is or whatever, especially these first games of the year. You never know. You never know in rivalry games. We've been building on there, talking about all off season about everybody that Mason's got back. But when you throw in a big trophy in there to play for, they might beat us 9 out of 10 times, but it's that one time that could happen when we play Thursday. So we just keep preaching that, and our guys are really feeling it all in. They feel like, everybody's might be picking Mason to win this game as young as we are, and they feel like we got nothing to lose. We can just go out and play.
That's how you got to look at it. Before I ask you about keys to the game, tell us a little bit about the Cedar Street Trophy. This is a rivalry that happened, back in the day, so to speak, and then it kind of went away. And then what? There was you found this in some storage facility or like a storage room in the gym? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it started, it predates 1950, but 1950 is the earliest we can find, scores and all that. But the trophy started, I want to say, in the 70s, maybe early or late 60s. And it's a beautiful trophy. It's got a football on top that's a brass football bigger than a normal-sized football. It's got 4 trophies on each corner that are normal-sized trophies, and then a big wooden block right in the middle that's got all the scores on it since 1950. And then we played till 1988, and then the rivalry kind of went away. And when it went away and our new school was built, they kind of got thrown on the heap with all the other trophies and down in a storage area until one of our assistant coaches was going in and cleaning out this area and found it. And actually, he was part of some of those games back in the 70s, and he polished it up and had it sitting on his mantle for a while until he left us, and then he brought it in and put it on my desk, and I was like, what is this? And we'd always been trying to get Mason to renew that rivalry, and A couple years ago with the way that the playoff system works now, it just fit. And so we were able to sync that up anew. And it's been a good time. We got them the first year, they got us the next year. But it's one of those cool things. How often do you get to play for a trophy? And especially in high school, you don't want the only time you play for it in the playoffs. Having some of those meaningful games during the regular season is something that's pretty special, and kids will remember forever. 40 years from now, they'll remember games like this.
Yep.
Whether they win or lose, hopefully you're on the winning side. But if you get your picture in that, you're in that picture holding that trophy, that's something pretty special.
Yep.
And we're pretty excited to be a part of this again.
Chad Folk, ninth-year head coach for the Rams of Holt. What are one or two keys for a big Holt upset win? It would be an upset win over an outstanding Mason squad.
Yeah, it would. The biggest thing is we got all these young guys. We got to, everybody always say minimize the mistakes, but that's certainly the case when you got such a young team. The other thing is, how do we handle the big fans of a varsity game? These guys are used to playing the JV and freshman games where the crowds aren't as big. How do they come out and handle that, and be able to play their game? And also, we know there's going to be some ups and downs in a game. How do we handle that? So there's a lot of adversity around there that we got to be able to handle. And I think if we do that, we'll be okay. The other thing with how hot it's going to be tonight, we got to be able to withstand that. I think in any first game, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win. And when you throw in a pretty hot night and some jitters from the first game, whoever can handle those things, that's who usually wins this game, especially in a rivalry.
He's Chad Folk, the ninth-year head coach for the Rams of Holt High School. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck tonight, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
You're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The game, 7:30 a.m., WVFN.
Just 8 days till Spartan football on the Lansing Sports Network. Powered by Alumni Hall and AlumniHall.com. The ultimate Spartan shopping destination.
Free.
WVFN.
Joining us now on the pregame show, the seventh-year head coach for the Bulldogs of Mason. He's Coach Gary Houghton. Coach, thanks so much for coming on once again.
Thanks for having me on, Brock.
Coach, this is your seventh season, and this is, at least on paper, your best squad yet. That's kind of hard to say because you've had two of the best seasons, arguably the two best seasons in school history, 22-4 the last 2 years, state semifinalists the last 2 years, and yet this year, expectations have never been higher. How have you been able to, your kids have to know that. They're smart enough to know, but how have you been able to, keep them grounded, like Carlton Valentine used to say, stay humble, stay hungry?
I think the key to it is just focusing on the game in front of you, not get caught looking ahead at a state title. I know these guys want to win a state title, but you really have to focus on the game that's in front of you. And then as that ends, of course, then you move on to the next week. But I think that's the key. Just keep focusing on the next game in front of you.
Coach Gary Houghton joining us here on the pregame show. 16 starters back, 8 starters back on offense, 8 starters on defense. These are guys people know about. A.J. Martell, the terrific running back and defensive back Caleb Parrish, Derek Badgley, Tyler Baker, Nick Sadi, Logan Dorr, who scored a huge touchdown against Hazlitt last year. But the guy that makes you go is your junior quarterback, Kason Carswell. He's back from his injury during basketball season, and I hear he's doing really, really well, and he's one of the top players in the area coming back this year.
Yeah, Kason's had a great off season. He recovered remarkably fast from the injury in basketball, and he's done a great job in the spring and the summer. He's put on some weight, and his arm strength's even better. He's just a well-rounded, well-improved quarterback at this point.
Coach, talk about some of the other guys that I just mentioned. These are guys people are familiar with if you've been following Mason the last couple of years. Martell, your running back. Parrish, one of your wide receivers. Derek Badgley, who's made big catches over the last couple of years. Same with Tyler Baker. Talk about those guys and maybe some offensive linemen or, linemen like Nick Sadi, Brennan Miller, guys like that.
Yeah, our offensive linemen are really the guys that make it go. Nick Sade is a returning starter at left tackle. We have Grant Gilchrist, who is starting on both sides of the ball as our right guard and our 3-tech on defense. We've got a newcomer, Conor Osipsik, who stepped in at guard. He's also doing a great job. And Brendan Miller, he's doing a great job on both sides of the ball. He's our center. So those guys really make it go up front. They're doing a great job. And, all the guys you mentioned are back, and they're doing great. Parrish is having a great camp. Badgley's looking great. Baker's looking outstanding as usual. Cole Reese has been another guy who's really stepped up for us.
Yeah.
Cole didn't see a lot on offense last year because we had so many wide receivers. But
right.
He's really stepped up this year. So, we're expecting some big things out of him as well.
Coach Gary Houghton joining us here on the pregame show. All right, your opponents tonight, your arch rivals, one of them anyway, the Rams of Holt. This is for the Cedar Street Trophy. You were able to beat them last year, 35-12. This is the third year of the resumption of the rivalry. It ended in 1988, but thankfully it's back. This is the third year. This has turned out to be a really great thing, and you're playing for a trophy, the Cedar Street Trophy, which is in your possession right now after winning last year.
Yeah, this has become a great rivalry, and I wish we had renewed it sooner. We actually had planned to renew it in 2020. It would have been week 2, which unfortunately all that was canceled, but
right.
We were able to renew it in 21. But both games have been great games, and we were fortunate to win last year, and we're looking for a really great contest again this year.
Well, the Holt Rams were 7-4 last year, but they got really hot later on in the year, won the CAAC Blue Co Championship, got to the district finals before losing to an excellent Grand Ledge squad. A lot of new players for Holt this season. They lost 33 seniors, but you know what? Holt has more kids to choose from than anybody else, being the largest high school in the area in terms of enrollment. And I don't know if it's like a reload, if possible, but maybe a bit of a rebuild for Holt, but this is a rivalry game. You never know. You got to prepare like they're, state champions or, really good, like a really good high school team.
Yeah, like you said, they were very much improved as the year went on. So we're anticipating a lot of those guys that are back have a lot of experience. And like you said, they're a very big high school. They're almost twice their size. So, you have to assume that they're going to field some very, very talented people and be very competitive. I don't expect us to ever have a blowout against Holt. They're always going to be competitive.
Yeah, this this rivalry has, even though it's it's a fairly new rivalry resumed, just the third year, it's turned into a really big deal. Being in Mason the last couple of years in the state semifinals, can you sense the anticipation in the community in the season? Because I live in Holt, but I drive to Mason an awful lot, and you can just sense the the anticipation for the football season. The people are expecting big things and hoping for big things as well.
Yeah, the community's been great. Just the support has been amazing. I can't ask for a better community to coach in. I mean, Mason is just an amazing community. But, yes, I do think the expectations are very high, and they're very excited. And our kids are very excited. And like I said earlier, I think the key is to just keep focusing on the game that's right in front of you and not get caught looking ahead.
As far as the game against Holt tonight, what are a couple of keys for a big Mason win to start the season?
I believe the key is going to be for us to stop the run and then establish our running game, and then that will open up the passing game. But I think those are the keys and limit turnovers.
Now, I understand that you've got some events happening before this game. During what's happening here?
Yeah, we are doing a military appreciation tonight, and we'll be wearing our USA jerseys, and it's our cause game. And we'll have a color guard from the American Legion, and we'll be doing halftime fundraiser. The benefits will go 100% will go directly to the American Legion, and we will have a 4-ship flyover right at the very end of the national anthem before the game starts.
A flyover before a high school game. That's pretty big time. That kids got to be looking forward to that. That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. There's a few schools that have it, and we are fortunate enough to be one of the few that have. Well, we have an airfield right across the road, and we have some local pilots that volunteer their time and their fuel. And they love this cause, so they're more than generous to give us their time, and we really appreciate it. And it's a great atmosphere.
He's Coach Gary Houghton in his 7th season at Mason High School. Coach, thanks so much for coming on. We'll talk to you next week before you play DeWitt.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
And you're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The game, 7:30 a.m., WVFN.
WVFN, Lansing sports leader.
Welcome back to the pregame show. Joining us, as always, once again this season, the prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. He is Brian Calloway. Here we are with another season, Brian. It does not, once the baseball season gets over with and all the events over at Michigan State in the middle of June get over with, it does not take long for a football season to roll around, does it?
And it does not take long at all. It's always the summers and the little downtime from preps always seems to go faster and faster each and every year. But like you said, here we are back again and talking some high school football right now.
We are, and the main thing now this season is the dissolution of the GLAC. That is no more, and we've got Olivet and Lakewood playing in the CAAC White. Perry and Stockbridge are playing as independents this year, although eventually Perry is going to join the CMAC, but that's not until next year. And it's just, it's really something. What has happened here? Do you think it's a good thing, or you kind of waiting to see, form an opinion after, a season or two?
No, I personally am under the opinion that it's a good thing. I mean, I like to see, some of these changes where you get, Lansing Christian, playing in, the CMAC with, some other teams like Pewamo Westphalia and, Bath and some of those other schools that are similar in size to them and very close by as well, too. I mean, you just kind of looked at, the way the CMAC has kind of shifted in recent years. I mean, they've lost Fulton and they've lost something like Carson City Cristo was a member of the CMAC, several years ago, and they lost them. So, I mean, they've lost some teams, over the years, and, for them to be able to, add some teams. And, I think it's kind of about survival as well, too, and being able to have, some like-minded schools that form together. So, I'm kind of excited to see, kind of the changes that are brought about. And, having Olivet and Lakewood in the CAAC, I know that Lakewood has been a part of the CAAC before and in that division, but obviously Olivet's kind of new to the game there. And, they're a school that has had some success in a lot of different sports. So, kind of looking forward to seeing how they compete, with all the rest of the bigger schools in Greater Lansing. So I'm actually kind of, excited to kind of see what the changes bring about. And that's kind of one of those things that, kind of looking forward to as we, start another school year of sports.
Yeah, Lansing Christian, they will be playing in the CMAC and other sports. They don't play football. And Perry is going to join the CMAC, but not until next year. Leslie moved out of the area. They'll be playing in the Cascades Conference, but hey, they're still close enough where we follow them here in the area. Other schools that have, Portland St. Patrick is still in the CMAC and other sports, but they left a number of years ago to play 8-man football in this area, so they don't play a league schedule. Potterville's not going to play a varsity schedule this year other than 2 games, a home and home against Genesee. I'm frankly worried about that program. I know there's been talk in previous years about Potterville going to 8-man football, but they don't want to do that. But participation, as it has been with a lot of schools, has been a major issue. COVID had something to do with it. Are you as concerned as I am about participation? Because that's been an issue for a number of years for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, it is. And, actually, I think, like you said, COVID had a little bit of something to do with, participation levels in some sports. And I'm looking at a school like Holt, which is, one of the biggest schools in the area, and how they don't have the numbers that they typically have. And I know that COVID, played up a little bit of part in that. And, you know, like you said, you know, just with some of those other programs, and you mentioned Potterville in specific, I mean, you're right. You know, people had been talking about them potentially going down to an 8-man level just because of the number standpoint. And, you know, it's kind of the smart thing to do. I mean, we're looking at a program like Carson City Crystal, which is, you know, just, you know, on the very edges of our coverage area. And they're a program that's actually had, you know, some success. And they had to drop down to the 8-man based on the number sig as well, too. So, I mean, I think it's good that the 8-man, you know, is an option for these programs, especially the smaller schools that are struggling to get the numbers out for football, and it's a way to allow them to keep, you know, playing football. But yeah, I mean, I just think, you know, I mean, some of the trends that we are seeing in some places where the numbers are down, and it's a little bit of a concerning thing for the sport, but you know, everyone's trying to do the best they can and you know, kind of do what's best for their program and their athletes.
Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, joining us here. You know, every year there's always, you know, a handful of teams that, you know, are at the very top of the Mid-Michigan, you know, ladder, so to speak. But I don't know if I've ever seen a season where two teams, not one, but two teams stand far above the rest. And I'm talking about DeWitt and especially Mason. Mason probably the number one team with DeWitt right behind them heading into the season. Oh yeah, and they play each other in week number 2.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, we could potentially get like a Greater Lansing Game of the Year before it even hits Labor Day.
Right.
But no, you're right. I mean, it just seems like, you know, both DeWitt and Mason, you know, with what they have coming back, both of them making it to the Division III state semifinals last year, and they could have played in the state championship game had they both won. But I mean, they just both seem to be very strong programs and could be factors to be among the best in the state as well too. You know, hopefully when, you know, the playoffs come out this year, and if these teams are as good as advertised, I mean, hopefully they are kind of on the opposite tracks again like they were last year, because man, I mean, just to have two great teams like that, and you know, it would be pretty cool to see them play for a state title. But obviously, a lot of football left to play.
Oh yeah,
a lot of things would have to unfold, you know, for that to be a possibility. But like you said, I mean, they definitely, you know, on paper, you know, had the makings of, you know, the two best teams in the area.
On the other end of the spectrum, Okemos has the longest area losing streak, officially 31 games in a row that they have lost. You know, F.A. Scott and Mockpour, their second-year head coach. Looks like their numbers are up. I have personally set 2 goals for them this year. Number 1, do what they didn't do last year. Play all 9 games. And that's goal number 1. Play all 9 games and get through the season. And number 2, try to win 1 or 2 of them. Your thoughts on Okemos and the 31-game losing streak, and Eastern as well. They've lost 10 in a row. They had a good season a few years back, but well, for them, they were 3-6, and that has been a good season for them. But they've struggled. They're 0-9. And another team like Eaton Rapids, can those teams break the losing streak this year?
You know, I mean, they have a chance. I mean, I think for starting with Eastern, I think for the Lansing School District as a whole, I mean, the COVID year and none of those 3 schools, you know, being able to play football, I mean, that's something that definitely, you know, hurt all 3 of those programs. And, you know, obviously now they're, you know, trying to build back up from something like that. And, you know, when you look at the Lansing schools, I mean, none of them have been in the playoffs in several years as well, too. So, I mean, that's just, you know, kind of something that, you know, we haven't really seen in a while, because usually one of those schools is really good. And I can remember, you know, the days when Jalil Canty was, you know, there, and, you know, Everett and Sexton was a really big game, and they were amongst the 2 best teams around. So, you know, obviously, you know, you would like to see those 2 teams get back on track, especially after missing the COVID year. And then you talk about Okemos. I mean, I think, you know, the numbers issue that you were talking about, I mean, that's something that has plagued that program. And the problem with a school like Okemos, I mean, there's so many different sport options, and Okemos too, which, you know, kind of impacts the numbers that they get out for football, despite, you know, being, you know, a very big school. I mean, they have a state championship caliber tennis program. I mean, soccer program won a state championship not too long ago as well too. So there's a lot of different sports, you know, that, you know, kind of divides some people's attention, and where, you know, not getting all the best athletes out for football from time to time. But I think kind of the goals that you laid out, you know, number 1, being able to finish the season, and 2, trying to find a way to win a game, or some realistic things, you know, that they could potentially do this year. And then you mentioned Eden Rapids, which I would say has a winnable game in the opening week of the season when they go to Owasso, which is a program that is also kind of been in a similar boat as them as well too, with some struggles in recent years as well too. But yeah, I mean, obviously these programs that we've mentioned have had some tough times of late, but there's some opportunities there for some of these programs to maybe find a way to get in the win column and get a winning feeling, which is so valuable for these kids to experience, because I think a lot of times some of these kids maybe aren't coming out to play for some of these teams because they don't have the success. So you got to find ways to try to get them to experience a win where people are going to want to come out for some sports there.
Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. We will preview week number 1 coming up on the other side, and we'll talk about the chances of Okemos and Eastern and Eaton Rapids, see if they have chances to win here in week 1, as well as the other top games around the area. You're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The Game, 7:30 a.m., WVFM.
WVFM.
Back for another segment with Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. And Brian, let's preview week number 1, and let's start with the 3 teams we talked about at the very end of the segment, the teams that have had 10-game losing streaks or longer. I'm talking about Eastern. They are at Wayne Memorial, team in the Detroit area, but Wayne Memorial, they've lost 25 in a row. They haven't won in more than 3 years. Does Eastern have a chance to win this one? I think so.
Yeah, I think Eastern, will open the season with a win. I mean, like you said, Wayne Memorial is a program that has also, had some struggles as well too. But yeah, I would go with Eastern to win this game.
That would be a huge win for Jordan Morgan and that program. Eaton Rapids at Owasso. You mentioned Owasso has been a struggle in recent years. We know about the struggles for Eaton Rapids, and they're now second-year head coach Wayne Dismuke. Your thoughts about this one? Does ER get the win?
I think this is a game that could go either way, as both of these programs, try to get the season started with some momentum. But I went with Owasso at home to pick up the win here.
And Okemos, they're hosting St. John's in week number 1. That game's actually been moved to Friday because of construction going on at Okemos High School. It's going to be at East Lansing High School. I got St. John's in this one, but I think it could be tight.
Yeah, I think I'm going with St. John's in this one as well, too. Like you said, Okemos has had some struggles. I mean, I think they've made some progress, and Coach F.A., I think he likes some of the progress that they made in the offseason with, some of their programs and things like that. But I'm going with St. John's in this one to win.
All right, let's move on here. Some of the games here. Let's look here. Langsburg at Durand. I felt so badly for Langsburg last year. They were one of the only 6-3 teams that did not make the playoffs. It was just, I think it's absolute shame that they didn't get in, and there were teams that were 3-6 that did get in. I think that's something the MHSAA may need to look at some point. But your thoughts on Brian Borgman and that Langsburg squad?
I think they had a tough loss with, not having quarterback Ty Randall, who, he was, one of the better quarterbacks in the area last season and was a big part of the success that they had, in getting to 6-3 and winning the share of the CMAC title. But not having him this season is a tough pill to swallow for them. But, I think they can still, they still have a few pieces there. I think they can still have some success, but you would have liked to see them, have all their pieces to see what they could have done to, build off a season where they did win a league championship.
Moving on, Williamston at Zeeland East. Zeeland East, everybody knows they're a real good program on the west side of the state. Williamston's usually not afraid to play anybody from the west side of the state. They've historically played Battle Creek Penfield, home and home in recent years. Got to go to Zeeland East this year. Tough one for Williamston.
Yeah, it is a tough one to start the season. I would go with Zeeland East in this one.
Moving on, Portland and Ovid Elsie. This has been a week 1 matchup for a number of years. They've played a ton of close games in recent years. Portland has come out on the winning end on most of them. Portland's now a program. They just reload. They had some really low numbers last year and still ended up winning their league and going deep in the playoffs. I got Portland in this one, but this is going to be tight too because Ovid Elsie was a playoff team last year.
Yeah, Ovid Elsie was a playoff team last year, but, John Navarro has built, quite the program there at Portland, and obviously they've been a factor year in and year out, and I like Portland to start off with a win here.
I understand their numbers are a little bit better this year. Only 27 full-time players. They were one of the schools that took advantage of the 5-quarter rule that was implemented in the last couple of years to help with participation. I got a feeling there's going to be other schools that do the same thing. Everett at Sexton. This is a game that's been moved from Friday to Thursday. They're going to play that game at 6 o'clock over at Majeski Stadium. Hey, city schools playing. Always big rivalry there. Everett at Sexton. This is going to be a tight one. How do you see it?
Yeah, I was at this game last year, too, and it's definitely a competitive game. I'm going with Sexton to pick up the win in this one, though. So, got the J-Dubs.
Oh, yes, the J-Dubs, yes. East Lansing at Portage Central. East Lansing's got some players back. Jace Clarizio, an outstanding running back who played a lot last year due to injuries as a sophomore. He's now a junior. He's going to be the main man in the backfield. They've beaten they beat Portage Central last year. I got East Lansing winning this one. How do you see it?
I like East Lansing to win this one as well, too. I mean, like you said, Jace Clarizio, he has offers from Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. His teammate, Javon Thomas, the lineman, he's committed to EMU as well, too. So there's some talent on this East Lansing team. But, yeah, I've got East Lansing opening with the win.
Lansing Catholic at Waverly. This is a team, this Lansing Catholic team got off to a slow start last year. Looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs, got hot at the end of the year, and did get in. They won the state title 2 years ago and got back in last year against a Waverly squad that's, it just seems to have been rebuilding the last few years. Their coach, Deaya Jones, did a very good job last year, almost made the playoffs, but I got Catholic in this one, but I think this could be tight as well.
Yeah, I went with Waverly. I think Waverly opened some eyes last year when they knocked off Lansing Catholic, in their opening game of the season.
That's right. Oh, man, now I remember now.
Yeah, and I think, obviously with Coach Jones being there, he's had an off-season program under his belt with a lot of these guys, and they're returning. So I think that's going to be something that, helps this Waverly team this year as well, too. But I went with Waverly to win in a tight one at home. Oh, okay. I just think maybe the revenge factor right there would be the case for Catholic. Grand Ledge at Holland West Ottawa. Grand Ledge rebuilding from their outstanding squad that they had last year, got all the way to the regional finals, lost to Caledonia. Going back to the west side to take Holland West Ottawa. I don't think Grand Ledge is going to win this one. It could be a tough year for the Comets. Yeah, I'm going with Holland West Ottawa in this one. I'll be interested to see, how Grand Ledge kind of reloads. They lost two very strong players from last year when you look at the likes of, Teddy Williams and then Sean Foster, who, just had quite the senior season for them. But, yeah, I think they dropped the opener. The big one that you're going to be at tonight, Hazlitt at DeWitt. This at Memorial Stadium, longtime rivals. DeWitt won 21-14 last year. Hazlitt maybe has, at least one of the best players returning in Nakia Makri, senior committed to Bowling Green. He is an absolute, a missile on special teams. You got to wonder if he's ever going to get the ball kicked to him on special teams, whether it's kickoffs or punts, because he almost single-handedly kept him in the game last year. But they look to have a better squad around him this year. And DeWitt got off to a slow start, had problems with the quarterback position, had inexperience other places last year, and yet, voila, there they are in the state semifinals in Division III, and they look to have a better squad this year, one of the top two teams in the area. How do you see Hazlitt at DeWitt? Yeah, this was a very good game last year down at the Big House when these two teams played. And obviously, like you said, I can't imagine many people will, even give Nakia Makri opportunities to return the ball at all, whether it's on kicks or punts. But I'm interested to see, Corey Makri, his younger brother, who's a sophomore, see what kind of role that he plays for Hazlitt. And he's a guy that has got lots of Division I interest, some Power 5 offers as well, too. And to see, kind of the marks that he makes for Hazlitt as well, too. But, I'm going with DeWitt in this one at home to start off with the win. And finally, the game you're going to hear in a few minutes, Holt at Mason, the battle for the Cedar Street Trophy.
Holt won this game 2 years ago. Mason won last year, 35-12. Mason, we talked about it in the last segment. Not just Case and Carswell. They've got a lot of other pieces back. A.J. Martell, their outstanding running back and defensive back. I took Mason in this one. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I've had people tell me, Mason's going to win by 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Holt will keep it close, but I like Mason in this one.
Holt did only have 2 returning starters, from last season. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's going to be maybe more of a rebuilding and reloading year for Holt, and obviously Mason. It looks like to be a team that could be firing on all cylinders with some of the talent that they have on this roster. So I went with Mason in this one to get started with the win.
He's Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. All right, Brian, you're going to be at Hazlitt at DeWitt, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week, and then we'll see you next week when we do Mason at DeWitt.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me as always.
And you're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage, the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
East Lansing, a town square media station. Lansing sports leader. The game 7:30 a.m.
It's another another Thursday night here on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, and it's late August, and it's time for high school football. Here on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, I'm Brock Palmbush. Alongside me is Eric Doc Love. And Doc, we've been looking forward to this one for a while. Holt against Mason. This is the battle for the Cedar Street Trophy. Holt won it 2 years ago in the resumption of the series. Mason was able to win it last year, 35-12 over at Holt High School.
This was a rivalry that dates back all the way to the 50s, or even earlier, actually. The record books only go back to about the 50s, and so ever since the late 60s, early 70s, this has been going on. They took a break after 1988 and resumed it in 2021. They were supposed to start it in 2022. Obviously, they couldn't because of the shortened pandemic season, and things changed a little bit there.
Or 2020, you meant?
2020, excuse me, yes. And so they started things up in 2021. You're right. They're 1-1 so far. These teams have split the first 2 matchups, and looking forward to another one here tonight in a warmer than usual version of high school football. But when you're starting in the mid-August times, it tends to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah, but it's warm tonight. Not as warm as they said it was going to be, but still very warm indeed. And we're here ready for this one. And the thing we're noticing, and Brian Calloway told me this, but didn't want to say anything because I needed to see it for myself because I didn't hear anything from any of the coaches. And it's a significant development as far as Mason goes. Their junior quarterback, Case Carswell, he is in uniform, but he's not wearing any pads. Apparently, I was told by Brian Calloway, he is sitting out this game due to a disciplinary matter. Don't know any more than that. And their star wide receiver, Caleb Parrish, is number 4, wearing number 4. He is in uniform, but not wearing pads. And it's because he was ejected from the state semifinal game last year against Detroit Martin Luther King. And that carries a 1-game suspension for whenever the next season is.
Yep.
And he had...
Or whenever the next game is.
Whenever the next game is. So he's going to sit out this game as well. So a significant development there. And that's advantage Holt.
You're talking about 2 of their top 3 players. Throw in senior A.J. Martell, their running back, who had over 1,200 yards rushing the ball, 20 touchdowns on the ground last year. I mean, that's literally your top 3 offensive weapons for Gary Houghton and the Mason Bulldogs. So they'll have to rely on some other players that have gotten experience in the past, but have not obviously been starters recently. If you're looking at the depth chart for Mason, Brock, Nick Wells, the senior, number 2, is also listed as a quarterback. He has been the starter at times in previous seasons here, 2021 and 2022. I know he's gotten time. We've seen him play and start some ball games as well.
Played a lot more 2 years ago when Carswell was a freshman. But, they're going to be leaning on him, and we may see number 10, Wyatt Ball, a 5'9" junior. He is a defensive back. We also may see him get some time at the quarterback position. We'll see, though.
So we talk about for Mason being without two of their top three guys. Holt, Brock, they graduated 33 players this past season. So Coach Chad Folk's squad, the Rams, they went 7-4 last year. They tied for first in the CAAC Blue with Grand Ledge. They both shared that blue title. But the Rams, youth and inexperience, they have no returning starters on defense, does Holt right now, Brock.
Which is really, really something, and something that we're going to follow here tonight. Another thing we're going to follow, unfortunately, the weather. There is a possibility we could see delays in this game due to lightning. We've seen this before, and the MHSAA rule is hard and fast. It's if you see lightning, stop the game, 30 minutes.
If you see another strike, you got to wait another 30 minutes. It starts the clock up again, and we've been part of this numerous times, and I've been a part of games that have been called and have been had to play next day actually for a lot of those, and
had to happen before.
Hopefully, we don't want to incur that wrath of the weather tonight, but it's looking 50-50 at this point as far as in the Ingham County area as what we might see, and it's between what times now 7:02. And 11 p.m., which is prime high school football time, unfortunately.
Exactly. Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football is brought to you in part by Benedict Auto Body, The Body Doctor, Kitzmiller RV, the key to quality RVs, the Greater Lansing Sports Authority. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater. Find out more at lansingsports.org. And by our title sponsor, Doubting Industries, recognizing the effort and commitment athletes give to the sport of football. They're always interested in individuals that have the drive and desire to be successful in work and in life. Check them out at doubtingindustries.com. You may find a successful future here. This is not the only game around the area tonight. Taking a look at the other Week 1 action, just about all these games are on Thursday.
One game got moved to tomorrow.
One game did get moved to tomorrow. East Lansing is playing at Portage Central tomorrow. It was supposed to be played tonight, but they're going to play tomorrow. Hazlitt is at DeWitt, and they're getting underway right about now. They're probably already underway right now. Grand Ledge is at Holland West Ottawa, probably a little bit cooler. Along the lake shore there, it usually is. Lansing Catholic at Waverly. St. John's at Okemos. Man, you're just rooting for Okemos. Like I said during the pregame show, I believe Okemos has 2 goals this year. 1, play all 9 games. Don't do what happened last year where you have to stop play because of just low numbers. You play all 9 games and then try to win a couple of games. I don't think that's too much of a. I don't think that's too much to ask. Coach F.A. Scott Amakpour probably was like, "No, we want to do better than that." Well, you got
to start with your base goals first.
Yeah, baby steps. Steps. East Lansing, like you said, East Lansing at Portage Central. That's tomorrow. Everett at Sexton. That's going on right now in a game that was originally scheduled for Friday, but it got moved up. And so that's going on right now. Corunna is at Fowlerville. Eastern lost 10 in a row. Playing a team in Wayne Memorial. The great Lorenzo Guest played at Wayne Memorial, football and basketball. He's a terrific player there. He's working at Michigan State. Now Dr. Lorenzo Guest. But unfortunately, they've lost 25 in a row in football. So you got to think Eastern's got a chance to win that one. Williamston is at Zeeland East. Three Rivers is at Charlotte. Portland at Ovid Elsie, which has turned into a real good rivalry. Eaton Rapids is at Owasso. Another team, Eaton Rapids, really, really struggling. They went 0-9 last year. Lakewood is hosting Battle Creek Penfield. Ionia is at Belding. Olivet hosts Remus Chippewa Hills. Bath is at Chesaning, Langsburg at Durand, Fowler at Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett, Leslie at Dansville, PW at North Muskegon, St. Louis at Saranac, Stockbridge at Springport, Clawson at Perry. That's the 11-man schedule. In 8-player, Morris at Breckenridge, that's tomorrow. Portland St. Pat's at Coleman, that's tomorrow. Weberville at Farwell, that's tomorrow. And Maple Valley playing at Mesick, going up north to play Mesick, that's also tomorrow.
Might be a little cooler up there, too.
Might be a bit cooler up there, yeah, because this weather's supposed to get out of here and be much cooler than it is right now. Wanted to get your thoughts on the realignment that Brian and I talked about. There has been realignment in the area. The GLAC is no more. The Greater Lansing Athletic Conference is no more. Olivet and Lakewood are now in the CAAC White. Perry is playing as an independent this year, but they will eventually join the CMAC next year. But they're playing as an independent in football this year. Stockbridge is an independent as well. Leslie, who was also in the GLAC, they are playing in the Cascades Conference down in the Jackson area, playing teams a little bit closer to them. Your general thoughts on that? And in the CMAC, Potterville's only playing 2 varsity games this year, other than a home and home against Genesee. But they're going to be playing a JV schedule, so only 6 teams competing in the CMAC. That's almost unheard of.
Yeah, you talk about teams that have left the CMAC, like Carson City Crystal used to be in the CMAC. They've moved on. They've gone up to another conference up north. And you're talking about the realignment as the GLAC just is non-existent anymore. The top 2 teams that have joined the CAAC White in the last couple years, or several years at least, have been Olivet and Lakewood. Those 2 teams have been vying for GLAC supremacy in the last like 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 years at least, as far as teams that have been at the top of the GLAC. And for the White, it's a little crowded in the White right now. Talk about CMAC being lacking with only 6 teams right now. The White has got they've got 8 teams now. Yeah. Catholic, Portland, Olivet, Eaton Rapids, Ionia, Lakewood, Sexton, and Charlotte. Catholic and Portland obviously have been the tops of the White for numerous years. Portland's been working on a long record. What was it? They have won, look at my 8 of the last 10 seasons. They've had at least 10 wins. They were champs last year, obviously, and they've been champs for a number of years, have Portland. But
got a great program there.
They do, but you talk about Olivet and Lakewood stepping in. Can they be competitive in the CAAC White? You talked about Eaton Rapids struggling last year. They didn't get any wins. You talk about Sexton, who's been a little bit more improved. Charlotte had a very good season last year.
They did, made the playoffs.
They made the
Coach Mike Sparks.
Yep, and then Catholic, they started the season 0-3 and ended up making the playoffs last year and getting in. Catholic has been obviously a team that has won a state championship in recent years, obviously. But Olivet and Lakewood, you got to give them a puncher's chance at least. I mean, how can they handle the season? Playing in the CAAC White, it might be a little bit difficult year one in 2023, trying to adjust to a different level of competition. Now, a lot of these schools are obviously right around the same school size as far as or enrollment and players on the varsity teams, but the White is pretty packed right now. And the CMAC, you think they got to add at least, besides Perry, maybe they'll get somebody else somewhere down the line, not next year.
Or have Potterville come back with some bigger numbers.
Potentially,
and come back. Again, Potterville only playing 2 varsity games this year, a home and home against Genesee. They play in week 2, and then they play later on in the season. But other than that, it's a junior varsity roster.
It's nice to see another team added, though, with Perry coming in next season. And you got to wonder what's going to happen with Stockbridge. They're kind of hanging out there in no man's land at this point.
They are.
With Leslie joining the Cascades, like you said, Stockbridge, do they join the CMAC or do they try and join a different conference in the area? I mean, they're kind of, like I said, in no man's land at this point.
Really closer to Chelsea in that area, but you don't want to play Chelsea every year. No. Chelsea's a state power.
That's a different division too. They're a little higher up.
They're a bit bigger. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, even though they are closer down there. Stockbridge still in Ingham County, southeast corner thereof. We're here at Mason High School for Holt and Mason, the Cedar Street Trophy. They had it displayed right down by the south end zone, south corner of the end zone, and I don't know where it is right now. Can't see it as we've got bees coming in here in the booth here. Eric's trying to swat them away. Hey, this is live radio, folks. These things happen. But
we're also trying to stay cool up in here, too. We got a couple of fans going on.
We are. We got 14:35 left on the clock, and we're going to be doing we're going to do the coin toss here in just a minute. Now's a good time to take a break here. We'll come back, and we'll take a look at other things in the high school realm, and we'll tell you who wins the toss and what direction they'll be kicking in. We'll do that coming up on the other side of this break. You're listening to Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage.
Welcome to Be the Referee with MHSAA registered official Paige Winnie.
What happens if a player bowls out of turn during a Baker game? First, what's a Baker game? That's when 5 members of a team alternate bowling frames. The number 1 bowler goes in frames 1 and 6 and on down the line. If a bowler goes out of turn during MHSAA competition in accordance with USBC Rule 8, Item D, a dead ball would be declared. The delivery does not count. The pins must be respotted, and the correct bowler is then required to continue play. While a recent change to NCAA bowling rules would penalize bowling out of order on the wrong lane with a 0 for the attempt starting with the first infraction, the NCAA rule is not used for MHSAA competition. Instead, the frame is reset and the correct bowler is free to continue.
Thanks, Paige. You can be a referee. Go online now to register at MHSAA.com. Be the referee as a part of the MHSAA network.
Lansing Sports Station. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
Palmbos and Erik Doc Love back here at Mason High School for the Cedar Street Trophy game. Mason against Holt. Winner gets the Cedar Street Trophy. They have split the last 2 years. Mason is currently in possession of it, but we'll see after tonight. It's really weird, Doc, that we have two teams that, at least before the season starts, stand above all the rest. And yet we've got it this year, as just about everybody that observes high school football in this area believe Mason and DeWitt are the two best teams in the area. And
foreshadowing.
A little foreshadowing there. We'll be at DeWitt High School next week at Memorial Stadium for Mason against DeWitt.
If you're talking about power rankings or your top teams in the area, you're right. DeWitt and Mason are 1 and 2, 2 and 1, wherever you want to flip-flop them. And I don't think it really matters at this point. It's kind of a toss-up here before we get things going officially, at least for Mason.
A lot of people have both these teams in the top 10 in the state in Division III.
Yep. Of course, DeWitt, they went 9-4 last year. They've made the semifinals 5 consecutive years, which is impressive. Winning once, obviously, in the finals.
And that's a down year for them.
Yes,
their standards are so high, and we didn't expect them to get to the semifinals, but they got hot at the right time. Mm-hmm. They won that game against Mount Pleasant in the district finals in multiple overtime. I think it was triple overtime, and they were able to get to the semifinals. Could not stop Muskegon's Mackay guy in a blizzard, and we are not exaggerating because we were there at Greenville High School last November. It was
true blizzard outside.
I mean, it was parallel to the snow was parallel to the ground.
Yes,
it was just absolutely wild. So
DeWitt, DeWitt obviously more than at this point, most people consider DeWitt probably 2 behind Mason. We've talked enough about Mason. We'll talk about them a lot, obviously tonight. Being here, East Lansing, another one of those teams. Brock, the people have been talking about. They went 8-4 last year. They made the D2 regional appearance as well. Portland, we've touched a little bit on Portland already tonight. Went 10-2 last year. CWC White Champs. They made the D5 regional championship. I had mentioned they've had at least 10 wins in 8 of their last 10 seasons. They've only had 1 conference loss since 2015. Hazlitt, a team that could step up and be, depending upon how the Amakri brothers perform this year, Corey and Nakai.
Nakai, the senior, he's headed to Bowling Green, committed to Bowling Green next year. He is outstanding. We saw him last year. He is outstanding. And his brother Corey played as a freshman last year. He's going to play a lot more as a sophomore this year.
He's getting some D1 offers too, is
already.
Corey. Arizona State, CMU, Western Michigan, among others out there. Pewamo Westphalia had a down year last year, Brock. 6-5, at least for the Pirates, that is 6-5. They did share the CMAC title in that one. Pirates looking to bounce back in that. We talked about the smaller CMAC this year with only 6 teams out there. Fowler, they shared the title with PW last year. They went 10-2. And that was their first CMAC championship since 2014 for the Eagles. They made it to the D8 regional last year. Lansing Catholic mentioned that they started the season 0-3, and they looked like they were in trouble with the Cougars, and they put things together.
Lost to Waverly,
made all the way to the D6 regional last season, so they kind of turned things around at one point. And Morris, semifinalists for the first time since 2019, but didn't win their conference for the first time in a number of years. Did go 9-3, and their last 3 years have been 27-3 as Morris, and a team more than likely ready to go again this year, too.
Yeah, but fortunately, they're going to be playing the other top team in 8-player football. and that's Portland St. Patrick.
Yes.
They play each other later this season, as they're now in that same the Mid-Michigan 8-player conference, I believe they call it. So they'll be playing each other later in the season, and you never know. We might be heading to one of those two places to do that game. If there's an 8-player game in the Mid-Michigan area to do, it's Morris against Portland St.
Yes,
Pat's.
absolutely. St. Pat had a down year last year, but more than likely going to rebound this year and have a much better season. They struggled last year with a lot of young players and had graduated a lot of guys from the previous season.
And as always, at Portland St. Patrick, enrollment.
Yes, yep, as enrollment too.
Yeah, that's always a factor.
And then, some honorable mention teams we want to talk about real quick. Charlotte, obviously, we talked about them briefly. They had a really good year last year. They've got a chance to do some more damage in the CWC White. Williamston, a team that makes the playoffs every year, it seems like, no matter what.
Yep.
They find a way. Sometimes they make some deep runs as well. Langsburg, they didn't make the playoffs last year, which was a shame because they had a great season.
6-3, they were co-champs of the league. They beat Fowler, and seeing the case of Langsburg and seeing teams that were 3-6 that got in the playoffs, I think that may be something down the road that the MHSAA looks at and say, okay,
that doesn't quite look right.
That doesn't look right. We're not going to put this 3-6 team in, even though they may have more playoff points than the 6-3 team, because unless it's really extenuating circumstances, in my opinion, I don't believe a 3-6 team should make the playoffs.
No,
and we had several that made it last year.
Yeah, not over a team that's obviously 6-3. That's where the playoff points kind of thing comes into, and that's another discussion we'll have at some point here during the season.
It just felt so badly for them, and you better believe it's been on their mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then the last one for me, at least independent-wise, Ovid Elsie's had some really good years recently. You talk about them playing Portland.
Travis Long,
week
good
one.
coach. Yep.
That rivalry, it's been going on for a very long time. Ovid Elsie and Portland open up the season every single year. They just flip-flop wherever they're playing at Portland or Ovid Elsie, depending on what happened the year before. But it's been very competitive recently.
Well, during the last break, Doc, they did the coin flip, and Holt won the coin toss, and they did something that's a little bit different these days. No, they didn't defer their decision to the second half. They want the ball to start the game. What do you think of that?
They want to see what they got early on. They want to see if they can strike early and get some points on the very first drive of the ball game. I'm not opposed to that. When you got a young squad like Chad Falk does, you got to give them a chance out there early on and see what are they going to do. Can we go into a tough environment at Mason, considered amongst many people to be the top team in the area? Can we go in there and get some points early on and maybe get this upset? So it would be an upset.
And it would be an upset, absolutely. It would be. But, hey, this is a rivalry game, one of the rivalry games for Holt. They play Grand Ledge. They're arch rivals for the Jack Rarick Trophy coming up in week 3. We may be at Holt in 2 weeks for that one. You never know. It's just this weather. It's just, and I'm not talking about the hot weather.
Yes.
We can live with, we can deal with that, and we are dealing with that. But it's the threat of thunderstorms, and it's looking a bit ominous.
Good evening and welcome to Mason Bulldogs.
Yeah, some of the other games we're looking at in later on this season. Well, we know we're going to be at DeWitt next week. Mason at DeWitt, Grand Ledge at Holt, or PW at Langsburg in week 3. Probably leaning towards Grand Ledge at Holt in week 3. Week 4, East Lansing at DeWitt or St. Pat's at Morris.
You alluded to that earlier.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Catholic at Portland is looking good for week number 5. Although we always leave ourselves room for surprise teams that come out of nowhere and have at least get off to a good start. We might, carry them. Week 6 looks like that's the best chance for us to do a CMAC game. We always like doing at least one CMAC game a year. Try to get out there. Fowler at PW. PW looking for revenge after they lost to Fowler in the final seconds last year.
Yep. Or Langsburg at Bath is another option
for the County Line Trophy, and then or Hazlitt at Fowlerville. Week 7, East Lansing at Waverly, Williamston at Hazlitt, Charlotte at Portland. We did that game at Charlotte last year. Man, Portland just waxed them. And Charlotte was a very good team, but Portland beat them pretty convincingly.
And one of their key players for Charlotte got injured in that ball game.
Yeah. Yep. Holt at East Lansing, Fowler at Langsburg, week number 8. And week 9, the most relevant CAAC Blue game that determines the title, or we'll go back to Pauama, Westphalia to do Catholic at PW. So glad that they are playing once again.
That's been a good matchup for the last couple of years. That's one we had been looking forward to in the past. Like, man, let's get these teams together. And they've had some good ball games the last couple of years when they matched up with each other. Now, obviously, you talked about all those games. The only one that's set right now was next week is Mason at DeWitt. All those other games are, the only one that maybe more than likely set is the Lansing Catholic at Portland ball game
Yep.
in Week 5. But other than that, we're wide open as far as how we want to do things this season. We've got a couple of games set in, and everything else is a toss-up. It depends, like you said, maybe some teams step up early on in the season, have some good starts, and we want to see them.
Doubting Industries presentation of high school football is brought to you in part tonight by Benedict Auto Body, The Body Doctor, Kitzmiller RV, the key to quality RVs, the Greater Lansing Sports Authority. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater. Find out more at lansingsports.org. And by Doubting Industries, recognizing the effort and commitment athletes give to the sport of football. And they're always interested in individuals that have the drive and desire to be a success, to be successful in work and in life. Check them out at doubtingindustries.com. You may find a successful future here. The Mason Band is out on the field right now, and we'll be set for the national anthem here in just a couple of minutes. There is, 1 minute left on the clock here, and we'll be ready to go here. It's, just the anticipation is there, but there's the aspect of the weather that's kind of like,
Yeah, yesterday they announced they pushed this game back to 7:30 because they thought of the heat. They want to push it back, maybe it'll cool off a little bit more, and then now we're like, if we'd have started at 7, we probably would have been a little bit better off at this point.
Didn't know that at the time.
No, obviously things change last minute like that. And I was listening to the pregame show. I don't know if anybody else was. There's a flyover before this game begins, Brock?
Well, yeah, there's a military flyover. Well, it was supposed to be.
Okay.
We'll see if it actually happens, and we'll find out here in just a couple of minutes. But, yeah.
That's something special if it happens.
Absolutely.
That doesn't happen very often in high school.
Absolutely. The community of Masons really supports the military. They've had a history of military appreciation night, things like that.
They're doing that tonight. They're wearing their red, white, and blue jerseys, are the Mason Bulldogs.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And it helps that there's an airfield across the street, really.
Yes, exactly. All right, we'll take a timeout, and we'll come back, and we'll have kickoff and get things going here from Mason High School. It's Hold at Mason. You're listening to Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
The game 7:30 a.m.
Brock Palmbush, Erik Doc Love back here at Mason High School. It's Holt at Mason for the Cedar Street Trophy. Season opener for both teams, and the Mason team is going to be coming out onto the field right now, running under the Go Bulldogs sign. Two veteran coaches, Doc. Chad Folk in his 9th season at Holt. Gary Houghton in his 7th season at Mason. Both guys took over for legendary coaches, Al Slammer and Mike Smith before Chad Folk at Holt. And, of course, Jerry Van Havel, who was a great coach here at Mason for so many years. But Gary Houghton's been the most successful. First 2 regional titles in school history, the last 2 years.
And for Mason, the last 4 seasons, Brock, best win percentage in the mid-Michigan area. Now, DeWitt has more overall wins at 43-39, but Mason has the best overall record so far in these last 4 years, 88%. They've gone 18-1 in the CAAC Red in those 4 years, too, and looking for that 5th consecutive title here in the Red. Now, obviously, this is a Red versus Blue matchup. This is a non-conference technically in this one, but their only loss in the CAAC Red has been to Hazlitt, and that was 2 years ago. So the Mason very, very successful under Coach Gary Houghton in the last 4 years.
Mason in the home blue uniforms with red numerals, and they've got, what do they got there? Are they coming out with the American flag?
We got red and white stripes on the left shoulder, and then stars
on the right,
and the blue on the right.
Yep. So there you go. Very patriotic tonight, and of course the Mason Bulldog footprint, which is identical to the Clemson footprint that you see. It's just it is a white footprint, but instead of orange with Clemson, it's a blue backdrop with a red outline. As I mentioned earlier in the pregame, Kason Carswell, the star quarterback for Mason, not playing tonight due to a reported disciplinary issue. He's not playing tonight. And Caleb Parrish, their star wide receiver, not playing tonight because he was ejected in the semifinal game against Detroit Martin Luther King. And now we've just been told Nick Wells, the senior, will be starting at quarterback tonight for Mason. Advantage for Mason, he at least has played quite a bit the last 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe going into the season in 2021, he was the starter as a sophomore. So Wells has plenty of experience. Carswell got in mostly in the playoffs in that 2021 year. And Wells has played a little bit quarterback last year as well. And then Carswell had officially taken over at one point last season and has been. But, without him, without Caleb Parrish, a guy who also plays defense too, a linebacker for him at 84 tackles last year, you're missing two big guys.
Yeah. Derek, they still have other guys.
Oh, yes.
Derek Badgley, Tyler Baker. Oh, and yes, A.J. Martell, their star running back, number 26. He's very good. And fullback Logan Dorr, just a junior, but I'll never forget the long run he had to clinch the Hazlitt game last year that we did. Only carry of the game. I think he went 44 yards for a touchdown.
Yep.
So it was Mason still has lots of players to throw out there. Holt will be wearing the road white uniforms with brown numerals and gold trim. Colin Winters, number 90, will be kicking off. He is just a junior. He handles all the kicking duties here for Mason. And who's that back there for Holt?
There's two numbers out there. Looks like number 8, Michael Amory.
Michael Amory, yep.
And then number 19, Jasavion Taylor.
Yep, there we go. Mason will be going from right to left across your radio.
Mason looking for one more player out there on kickoff,
yep.
And it is number 14, Devlin King.
So here we go, getting the final instructions here, and we'll be ready on the 9-week odyssey to the playoffs in late October. And then, of course, from there, that's when the goal changes from just making the playoffs. Then the goal is for pretty much everybody that makes the playoffs, Ford Field.
Yes, winner go home.
Colin Winters will be kicking off, puts the ball right on the X, right on the 40-yard line, and he'll be kicking off. Here we go. High school football here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage for at least 20 years. I've lost count. Here's Winters kicking it off. It's a squib kick. He's going to kick it out of bounds. No, it's not going to go out of bounds. It's going to be picked up by number 19. That is Jasavion Taylor. He's out over the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 30, the 40. He's into Mason territory. He's going to be gone. Unbelievable. Jasavion Taylor, a 98-yard kick return for a touchdown. I put my head down just to look to see, make sure it was Jasavion Taylor, and the next thing I know, he's right around midfield. He gets around Colin Winters, and he takes it to the house. 15 seconds into this game, it's 6-0 Holt.
It was a squib kick, and you said, it's going to go out of bounds. No, it stopped and kept rolling. It looks like it's going to be perfectly set for Mason, and you think that they're going to get him stopped inside the 5-yard line. He picks it up, makes one little cut, has a clean lane down there, doesn't step out of bounds near the 25-yard line, and you said he had one man to beat. That was the kicker, and he turned down the Jets and got past him. There was a penalty flag, Brock, by the way. But
sideline warning.
Sideline warning, you're right.
98-yard touchdown. Kickoff return.
Brock, is that why you win the coin toss and accept the first time?
There you go. Wow.
A lot of times coaches defer.
Looks like Jack Bishop is kicking the extra point. Here's the kick. It's up. And it's good.
Yes, the point is good. And with 11:45 left in the
15 seconds into this game, it's 7-0 Holt. Well, there's a surprise there.
That's a heck of a way to start a season for 2023, Brock. You get a kickoff, and it's instantly returned for a touchdown. And it looked like he was going to get bottled up down there inside the 5 or 10-yard line.
Almost did go out of bounds. He picked it up right at the 2-yard line just before it went out of bounds. The official was standing right there on the goal line to make sure it didn't go out of bounds. It didn't. He picked it up, and he got through the scrum, and he beat the kicker right about the 50-yard line, and he was gone after that.
Incredible start for Coach Chad Folk and the Holt Rams.
I think that's better than what they could have hoped for.
Yeah. We wondered who's going to go out there and start a quarterback, who's going to be your running back, who's going to be your top wide receivers. You don't need it if you're going to kick a return.
My goodness.
That was an exciting way to start the season.
Jack Fisher, number 82. Not Jack Bishop. There's no Jack Bishop on there. Number 82, Jack Fisher. I got the first name right, but not the second name. Remember, that was an issue last year for Holt. They did not have a kicker, and it cost them against Grand Ledge in the playoffs.
They would go for 2 every time.
Yes. Here's Fisher with it. Kicking off from the 40. It's a high, short kick, and is this going to go out of bounds? Yes, it does, and that'll be a flag.
That one was a no-doubter out of bounds.
Holt's kick goes out of bounds.
Let's see what Mason elects to do. They may elect to take the ball at the 35-yard line, and they will. So no penalty yardage there. Had Mason elected to make him kick it again, yeah, it would have been a 5-yard penalty.
So we actually get to see the Mason offense first.
Nick Wells, the senior backup quarterback. Again, Case and Carswell, their starter, not playing due to disciplinary action. And they're going to put the ball on the right hash mark, going from right to left. 11:45 to go in the first quarter. It is 7-0. Holt, Jasavion Taylor, 98-yard kick return. 2 yards for a score. And it's 7-6 Holt with the extra point pending.
Well, despite missing Case and Carswell at quarterback and Caleb Parrish at wide receiver, we knew that there were plenty of other weapons out there for Mason, and A.J. Martell was definitely that number one option. And he got the ball every single time, and he got positive yards every single time.
Fumbled snap did not affect them.
Mm-mm.
Now we got a delay here. Don't tell me it's a lightning delay.
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything.
Seven, 6, Holt. 10:20 to go, first quarter. Officials are conferring. 3 of the 6 officials that are, no, 7. There's 7 officials out there.
Talking about something.
Well, we're not sure what the delay is here. Ball not lined up properly. Did they not spot it properly? I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're ready for extra point now, I guess.
Here we go. Colin Winters, number 90, is going to kick to try to tie the game. Now we got one of the officials going over to talk to Gary Houghton.
I'm trying to give him an explanation as what's going on.
Yeah. All right, well, we're finally ready to go here. Snap, hold, kick, up, good. And so, a minute 20 into this game, Doc, we are tied at 7. It is Holt 7, Mason 7, 10:20 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a 30-second timeout and come back on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, brought to you by Doubting Industries, our title sponsor this year. Back after this.
Lansing Sports Leader, the game, 7:30 a.m.
Brock Palmbush, Erik Doc Love back here at Mason High School. We are tied at 7. A.J. Martell caps off a drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. We are tied at 7 with 10:20 to go in the first quarter. Yes, that's right. 10:20 to go in the first quarter of a 12-minute quarter, and we're tied at 7. Now the ball falls off the tee.
4 plays, 65 yards, all runs by A.J. Martell.
Yep, 65 yards, 4 plays, 65 yards, and it took a minute and 25 seconds on all runs.
Yes.
There's something that doesn't happen very often. Winters, squib kick. And it's going to be taken at the 14-yard line, up to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40, 45, 50, out of bounds into Mason territory. Guess who? Jasavion Taylor, and I think there's a late flag, Doc.
Taylor wasn't going to get the ball at first. One of the upbacks was actually going to try and grab it. Jamel Island, and went past him. And Taylor picked it up, ran all the way to the 50, and then got ushered out of bounds with a little extra on top of it.
Dead ball, personal foul. Mason.
Personal foul against the Bulldogs. Attack on some extra yardage.
Well, that's going to give Holt even better field position. They'll be marked at the, just inside the, well, they'll mark it at the 35-yard line of Mason. 10-11 to go.
He was pushed out of bounds at the 50. And then tack on the 15.
Can't really argue with the call. And so here we go. That is number 17, Cooper Benson at quarterback, inverted wishbone behind him. Going to hand off to number 25, that's LaDon Hatcher, and he's stacked up after a gain of 1 by the middle of the Mason line.
Taking a stop for the Bulldogs, number 73.
73, Brennan Miller, a senior, in on the tackle.
Game 1 on the play.
Miller, one of those guys coming back, has been so good for Coach Gary Houghton on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line.
If you're Holt, you absolutely love to get points off this drive, starting on the other side of the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Benson again. Fakes the handoff, going to roll out to the right, and he's going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Number 68, Nick Sadi.
And also number 44 out there, Logan Dorr, who plays fullback on the offensive side.
Give them half a sack, and Benson rolled out to the right, faked to the running back, little play-action rollout pass, and but by the time he was getting ready to pass, he had 2 Mason guys right on him. It was Dorr and Sadi.
Lost 8 yards on that sack too. They did not fall for the play-action fake, Brock.
Under 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. We're tied at 7, Holt and Mason. Cooper Benson in the shotgun, all by himself. 5 wide receivers, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Now he got a man in motion. And now we got a whistle, and what do we have?
Let's see a flag on the field.
Is it a timeout?
Yes, it is. Mason.
Timeout, Mason. Their first of the half.
Timeout, their first.
So we'll keep it right here, Doc. We're tied at 7, and now it's 3rd and 17 for the Holt Rams at the Mason 42-yard line. Man, like I said, you got to feel like you're, I don't want to say giving away points, but lost opportunity, I guess, if you don't get points on this drive. Starting at the 35-yard line, they've just gone backwards.
It's kind of like a basketball term, valuing your possessions, and starting inside, so deep inside enemy territory like that. It's tough like this, but it's weird to see a defense call a timeout on 3rd and 17 for a team. You think they're pushed back, like the defense on the sideline or the coaches must have saw something they didn't like.
Big early play here in this contest,
which has been a high-scoring one so far already.
Yeah, we're not even 3 minutes into this game, and it's 7-7 already. Jasavion Taylor, a 98-yard kickoff return, and then he just returned the last kickoff up to midfield. 8:40 to go, under 9 minutes to go, 8:40 exactly left in quarter number 1. Benson in the backfield. 4 wide receivers. He's got a running back next to him. Rolling out to the left is Benson. Trying to get away from the pressure, and he's not going to. He throws the ball. Are they going to call it a fumble? We're going to wait and see.
Well, there is a flag on the field, too.
Number 74.
Oh, they say he was down. We do have a flag. So no incomplete pass and no fumble.
Let's get this cleared up.
Is it a face mask? Incomplete pass.
Personal foul.
Horse collar
tackle. Wow.
So they do say it's incomplete pass. And the penalty bails them out. Almost.
That's 15 yards from the spot. It is a spot foul, so it's going to be 3rd but a lot shorter.
Yes, a much more manageable 3rd down for the Rams.
Not an automatic first down in high school football. Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be 3rd and 7 at the 32-yard line. Looks like Benson just having trouble getting rid of the ball. Maybe a little indecisive. Hey, it's his first game at quarterback for the varsity. You know what? I'd be nervous too.
And now confusion on the Rams.
And now they're going to have to call a timeout. Their first of the half. So both teams have 2 timeouts left for the rest of the half here.
Yeah, guys, we're looking to the sideline trying to figure out where do I need to line up properly on that one. You got a couple of wide receivers on the left side on that.
First game of the season.
Yep, first game, you're right. And then lots of new players for the Holt Rams. We mentioned in the pregame show, 33 seniors graduated from last year's squad. So you're going to bring in a lot of new guys to come in there. Not a lot of guys returning for this Ram squad. Really, only 2 starters and their offensive linemen, Justin Harris and Santana Trainer. Other than that, really nobody else have gotten a lot of reps for that team last year.
Nice crowd here tonight, still filing in here.
The far side Rams section is nearly full.
About 3/4 full on the other side. And, of course, Mason here is almost completely full.
Yep. The student section's plenty full over there for the Rams, that's for sure.
$8:32 left in the first quarter. 3rd and 7 for Holt on the Mason 32. We're tied at 7. Cooper Benson, number 17, is the quarterback. He's got an I formation behind him. He hands off to number 30. That's a fumble. Handed off to Logan Seifert. He fumbled the ball. Benson alertly falls on it. And now, what are they going to do here? It's going to be 4th and about 10 from the 35-yard line.
So they're back where they started this drive.
Nick Sadi on the tackle, and then the forced fumble. But, hey, nice job by Benson, alertly jumping on the ball and saving the possession.
I wonder if it was either a delayed handoff or it was supposed to be a flea flicker because things were very slow developing for that play.
Well, looks like Holt's going to go for it. At least they're going to line up to go for it. 2 wide receivers, I formation behind Cooper Benson. Play action pass. Throws out to the right. Nobody there. Incomplete. Mason will take over on downs.
Either miscommunication by the receiver and the quarterback or somebody ran the wrong route. I'm not sure. The closest guy to the ball out there was number 8, Michael Amory. And the quarterback just kind of overthrew him. Cooper Benson, he was closer to a Mason player than he was to him.
2 Mason players were out there.
I wondered, he thought that Amory was supposed to go to a different position than where he was at.
So Mason dodges a bullet. They gave up possession. They had 2 big penalties that kept the Holt drive alive. But
a squandered opportunity for the Rams.
Yep, Mason's able to hold. Nearly forced a turnover. Now we got an official's timeout here. And now what do we have? Don't tell me we got a lightning delay. Nope, they might be taking an extra, you know what, because it's so hot out there, I see a lot of people taking extra fluids, sports drink, water, maybe taking some extra time.
There you go.
There we go.
Extended water break.
Extended water break, that's a wise call. On a night like tonight, when it's 88, 89 degrees and pretty close to that humidity-wise, can't say I blame them. And the officials do have the discretion in situations like this to take an extended water break.
I just quenched my thirst myself.
Nice job, sir. Hey, I've already gone through 2 water bottles tonight. No soda tonight.
No. Maybe in a Gatorade if you need one at halftime or something. I brought my little koozie drink here, filled it with some ice and a whole bunch of cold water, and I will probably fill it up at halftime myself with some more water.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Benedict Auto Body, The Body Doctor, Kitzmiller RV, the key to quality RVs, the Greater Lansing Sports Authority, and our title sponsor, Dowding Industries. We thank Jeff Metz and Dowding Industries for being our title sponsor this year and all season long here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
Even some of the referees are getting some water, too. Nice job by the Mason water boys there.
Good job. 7:39 to go, first quarter. Mason has the ball on their own 35-yard line. Nick Wells, the backup quarterback in the game for a reportedly suspended Kason Carswell. But they just rode A.J. Martell on the last possession right down the field for a score. Wells is in the shotgun now. And he's going to hand it off to a wide receiver, flanker, jet sweep, number
0.
I don't see a number 0. It's number 0, Cole Reese. He's either number 9 or number 0. That's Cole Reese. He gets 6 on the play.
He would have gotten more, too.
He tried to make a cut, and he slipped and fell down. Still a 6-yard gain. So Cole Reese is not wearing number 9. He's wearing number 0 tonight.
Martell back in the backfield. They had number 23, Caleb Vaughn, in for the last play for that jet sweep.
And now Mason's moving some players around here, trying to get themselves set up. 6:56 to go first quarter. We're tied at 7. Nick Wells under center. I formation behind him, 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. And we got a whistle, and A.J. Martell left too early. Third penalty of the game on Mason.
And I saw a lineman leaning a little early, too, so it might have been a couple of guys moving at the same time. Trying to get that early advantage.
3 penalties for 35 yards for Mason. Saw A.J. Martell. He just jumped a little bit forward. He just took 2 steps forward before the snap. So move him back to the 36-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 9.
They take the fullback outdoor and bring on another wide receiver. It's 80, Ryan Greathouse, a junior.
4 wide receivers, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Is that Martell next to Wells there in the shotgun? Wells fakes the handoff, throws it out to the right, flanker screen, 35. That's 40. Is that Reese? Fumble on the ground. Holt picks it up.
Yeah, Reese got it.
As he was going for more yardage close to the 45-yard line out on the right flank, he dives forward, had the ball stripped, and Holt takes over. First turnover of the game either way, and Holt, once again, is in business in Mason territory.
He picked up 7 yards on that and then got hit, got popped, ball came out, and the Rams take over in plus territory this time. So another opportunity. They just squandered their last one. Maybe they could take advantage this time.
6:17 to go, first quarter. We are tied at 7. Mason trying to get themselves lined up defensively. Benson takes the snap, quarterback draw, gain of 1. He gets snowed under by the right side of the Mason line. That's just quarterback draw all the way, just trying to get what he could. He got 1.
Yeah, they had 5 wides out there, 3 on the left, 2 on the right, and he ran towards that right side where those extra wide receiver was blocking for him. Mason was running in a defensive lineman at the last second. Number 63, Jace Jackard. He didn't get there in time. It didn't matter. His teammates picked it up for him.
74, Grant Gilchrist on the tackle.
Yeah, they're trying to rotate guys in, keep them fresh right now.
Understandably so. I formation behind Benson. And now we're going to have another flag.
This might be offsides on this one. The guy who ran in the last second there, Connor Osipsik, was trying to replace 74, Grant Gilchrist. He got in there, and he might have jumped too early. Did he cause a false start? I'm not sure. We're going to talk about it.
Yep, it's on the offense.
Okay.
First penalty of the game on Holt. Kind of tell it's the first game of the season, can you?
Yep. It seems like every time, and it seems like recently, last couple of years, we're in Mason to start week 1, and both teams tend to have a lot of penalties in that first ball game.
2nd down and 14 from the Mason 49-yard line. Cooper Benson, number 17. I formation behind him, 2 wide receivers to the left. Hands off to the second man through. That's number 25, LaDon Hatcher. Decent gain to the 46, maybe the 45. He's taken down there. Logan Dorr on the tackle. So it'll create 3rd and 10 from the 45-yard line. 5:10 to go first quarter. Brock Palmbush, Erik Doc Love Glad you're joining us here on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, the season premiere of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Cooper Benson under center, I formation behind him. Fakes, rolls out to the right on the play action. He's going to throw it deep, and it's tipped away out of bounds. Number 7, Owen Attaway, defensive back, knocks the ball away. Or actually, that was number 2. That was Nick Wells. Thought it was number 7. No, it was number 2, Nick Wells. He knocks the ball away. Receiver was double covered there. Would have been a tremendous throw and catch had it converted.
Yeah, he was looking for Noah Parks out there, was Benson. And double coverage. Great job by the Bulldogs bracketing that wide receiver. And if it would have been a perfect pass, it might have gotten to his wide receiver. But only a few guys can make those kind of throws right now.
And those guys play in that league on Sunday.
Yeah, usually.
In punt formation is number 86, C.J. Sampson, kicking off from his own, punting from his own 40-yard line. Holt unable to take advantage of the field position. Here's a bad snap. It was low. Sampson fumbled it, but he's able to get the kick away. It's going to bounce inside the 30, bounce inside the 20, and go dead at the 19-yard line. So not a bad punt under the circumstances.
Yeah.
26 yards. It was a low snap, and Sampson fumbled it a little bit, went behind him, but he had absolutely no pressure. So he was able to get the ball, compose himself, and then kick the ball away.
Yeah, Mason wasn't putting any pressure on the punter for that one. A.J. Martell was back there waiting for the punt, and he never got a chance at that one, but pretty good job of making something out of nothing for that punt.
As we get to the 8 o'clock hour, I want to let you know you're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The game, 7:30 a.m., WVFN East Lansing, a Town Square media station. Brock Palmbush, Erik Love here at Mason. We're tied at 7. 4:37 to go in the first quarter. Holt facing Mason for the Cedar Street Trophy. Here's Nick Wells under center. I formation behind him. He fakes, throws out to the left. That is Cole Reese. Out to the 25, out to the 30. And he's driven back at the 33-yard line by number 8, Michael Amory. Decent gain there for Mason.
13 yards. Nice quick little pass out there. They play action and a quick pass to the wide receiver. We've seen a couple of those now. The last one that he got it, he fumbled the ball in that one. This time a little bit more sure-handed and held on to that.
Ball at the 32-yard line, so it was a gain of 13.
It was at the 20, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the 19.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Nick Wells in the shotgun. Is that Martell next to him? Looks like it is. Here's the snap. Handoff. Martell trying to get outside. Can't get outside. Great pursuit by Holt. Number 2, Sergio Hunt in on the tackle. But a nice job of pursuit by the Holt defense, stringing that play out for not much of a gain, maybe one.
Yeah, there were a couple of guys out there. 38 started that one for them. Number 38 is Carl Flinton, and number 3 was in on that, Nigel Gadsden as well. And they just kind of pushing that ball back toward the running back towards the extra defenders.
They do give him 1. Oh, we got closer to 2. It's almost at the 34-yard line. Wells under center, I formation behind him, 3 wide receivers. Fakes to Martell. He's going to throw it out to the left, and it's caught at the 50. That's Reese. 45, 40, 35, taken down inside the 30, taken down by Sergio Hunt. Big gain there for Mason, and now they're in business deep in Holt territory.
That was Badgley, actually, Brock. It's tough between
Badgley?
the 8 and the 0. We're pretty close to each other, but you're right.
It was Badgley, okay.
Broke that tackle right after the catch.
First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Big gain there. 42 yards, I believe. Martell gets the handoff up the middle. Oh, he slipped. Would have had a bigger gain, but he slips at the 22-yard line, and he's taken down there. Number 2, Sergio Hunt takes him down.
That was Vaughn, actually. They subbed Caleb Vaughn in real quick, and he was the one that got tripped up.
Oh, that was Vaughn. Okay.
It's tough to see. The 23 and the 26 and the 8 and the 0.
We have so much trouble sometimes reading some of these numbers.
Well, 8 and 0 are tough enough, and then the jersey numbers that they have, like this, the font that they use, it's even a little tougher. And then 26 and 23, they do kind of blend, look alike.
2:36 to go, first quarter. Wells under center, I formation behind him.
Still Vaughn.
Handoff to Vaughn. Inside the 25, down to the 21. He's taken down there. Looks like number 35, Ethan Melville on the tackle. Aaron Zuski, number 9, also in on the tackle. Couple of yard gain. It's going to be third down. Third down and about 6. Coming down to 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Martell back out there. They bring Dorr, the fullback, with the 3 wides. They don't huddle. They kind of muddle huddle. They kind of stand in what their place. They look to the sideline.
Yep. Minute 50 to go, first quarter. Taking their time. Here's the snap. Pitch out left. Martell, 25, 20. Inside the 20, down to the 16, maybe the 15. Close to a first down.
Number 35, Ethan.
Melville in on the tackle. They may have to measure for this one.
I think they're going to be a little bit shy.
Well, they mark it at just outside the 15.
A little less than 1.
I think Mason's going to go for it. Looks to me from where we are, it's close enough to be worth measuring.
I'm looking at the yardstick across the field there, and then where the ball is actually marked. It's about a half a yard shy.
We're down to a minute to go in the first quarter. We're tied at 7.
Power formation.
Yep, power I set. 2 fullbacks in front of A.J. Martell. Handoff Martell inside the 15, first down. He got to the 13.
That's all they were looking for.
Number 40, Rafe Harris on the tackle. Yeah, in a play literally designed to get 2 to 3 yards. Just get the first down.
Or 1 if you just need 1 like that, not even a full yard.
Yep, needed 1, got 3, really. Ball down at the 13-yard line. Down to 49.5 seconds left, clock running. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Martell next to Wells in the gun. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Wells, hands off. Martell inside the 10, inside the 5. He's got touchdown. A.J. Martell puts Mason ahead. With 25 seconds to go in the quarter, they're up 13-7.
14-yard run and no contact made by the defenders of Holt until Martell got to the goal line. So wonderfully blocked up front by that offensive line for Mason. Second rushing touchdown of the game for Martell. You're either going to go for it on 4th down, Brock, and you figure they're probably going to hand it to him again.
Yep. Kick is up. Kick is good by Colin Winters. And with 25 seconds to go in the first quarter, it's Mason 14, Holt 7. We'll keep it right here as we've got a quarter break coming up here in just a little bit.
Nice methodical drive by the Mason Bulldogs. Having to go for on 4th down again. Martell punching it in for another touchdown.
Colin Winters going to kick off, going from left to right. I'm told now Grand Ledge is leading Holland West Ottawa 17-7, but they're in a weather delay over in Holland.
Ended kick for your Bulldogs, number 90, Colin Winters.
Winters kicking off. It's up and away. Taken by Holt at the 5-yard line. Who is that? That's number 8?
Yes.
That's number 8, Michael Amory. Nice return out to the 25, out close to the 30-yard line. You could tell they kicked away from just Savion Taylor, who returned the opening kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown.
And then the next one, he took it all the way to the 50.
Yes. And then there was a 15-yard penalty, and they started that drive on the 35-yard line of Mason. Ball on their own 26-yard line. 19 seconds to go in the first quarter. We are in the first quarter as we started this game at 7:30. Cooper Benson, number 17. Inverted wishbone behind him, wide receiver to the left. Handoff, and now we got a whistle and we got a flag.
It's a delayed flag here. I think somebody moved early or somebody jumped into the neutral zone, one of the two.
Oh.
Okay. I saw one of the defenders for Mason kind of jump up like he was trying to get an early attack on that one, and he must have gone into the neutral zone.
You are not allowed to jump into the neutral zone and jump back in high school football.
Nope.
Once you jump across, that's a penalty. Down to 16 seconds to go in the first quarter. Benson, same inverted wishbone behind him. This time the wide receiver goes to the right. Handoff up the middle. Not much there.
And that was 25 again. Layden Hatcher, the junior.
Ladon Hatcher
Ladon,
Jr.
Excuse me, yep.
We're down to 3, we're down to 2, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play. We've played 12 minutes here at Mason High School. It's Mason 14, Holt 7. We'll take a 30-second break and come back. You're listening to Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage.
WVFN.
Brock Palmbos, Erik Love back here at Mason High School. It's Mason 14, Holt 7 at the end of the first quarter. We've got a little bit of an extended break here because of taking extended water break here. A.J. Martell, 2 touchdowns, one from 2 yards out, one from 14 yards out in the first quarter. Jasavion Taylor for Holt returned the opening kickoff, 98 yards for a touchdown. All 3 extra points attempted were good. And we're getting ready to start the second quarter here. 12 minutes are on the clock. They'll switch ends. Holt will be going from right to left across your radio. Mason will be defending the north goal. This is a north-south field. Most fields are in high school football. One of the few that I think go east-west is Grand Ledge. Grand Ledge is one that goes
right.
east to west. Trying to think of some other ones. Weberville, 8-man football, I think they go east to west as well. So it's not universal.
No, it's not required or anything like that.
No, there is no.
There's no rule that's saying your field has to go a certain direction.
No, right. But obviously in this part of the country, westerly winds for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go north-south. So if you do have wind, it's more of a crosswind and doesn't affect people as much, although wind is always a factor.
Yes. Not tonight right now, that's for sure. Almost no wind today.
12 minutes are on the clock. Cooper Benson under center. Fakes the handoff, rolling out to the right, throws out to the right, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Mason.
It's 23, Caleb Vaughn.
Caleb Vaughn with the interception. First turnover of the game for Holt. Mason is in business. It looked like it's just a roll out to the right, and he's trying to throw it out to the right to either a running back, wide receiver, or a tight end. But 23, Caleb Vaughn was there.
Vaughn just went underneath. The linebacker ran underneath that route by one of the wide receivers, and Cooper Benson didn't see him, and there's Vaughn with the interception.
11:53 to go in the first half. Ball at the 36-yard line.
Well, you see the third back out there, Dom Rodriguez for Mason. Listed as a wide receiver, but in the backfield right now.
5'6", 160 listed. He is in the backfield. Listed as a wide receiver and a cornerback. Nick Wells in the backfield. In the shotgun, 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Hands off, Rodriguez. Oh, he gets away from a couple of defenders. He's going to end up a nice gain going up the middle down to the 30, maybe the 29-yard line. Could have got caught back behind the line of scrimmage. Did a good job of breaking the first tackle. Ends up getting 6.
Yeah, he broke the first tackle. He made a nice little juke move about 2 yards down the field from that and got away from that defender and then fell forward for an extra yard.
87, Noah Parks in on the tackle.
So nice moves by the diminutive Rodriguez.
2nd and 4 from the Holt 30-yard line. Wells in the shotgun. Handoff. Rodriguez gets away from the initial tackle as well. Breaks the line of scrimmage. Gets down to the 27. He's close to a first down.
They come up a little bit short, but you're right. Dom being a little bit undersized out there. It doesn't matter. He's gotten through a few tackles and going to get subbed out by A.J. Martell for this 3rd and 1.
81 Bryson DeSmith on the tackle. It is 3rd and 1. And yes, Martell's coming back into the game. 10:50 to go, first half.
Dom Rodriguez, all about family. It's about family, Brock. It's a Fast and Furious reference. The name's Dom.
Very nice. Oh, yes. Yes. Took me a second to get it. I have not watched all the Fast and Furious movies, just a couple.
His last name's not Toretto, it's Rodriguez out there on the field.
That's true.
So.
Wells, hands off. Martell, first down. 25, 20. Inside the 15. He's down close to the 10-yard line.
He's a tough runner, man.
He gets tripped up inside the 15, gets down to about the 12-yard line.
More likely than not, it's going to take more than one defender to take down A.J. Martell. He's got the speed, but he's also got a lot of power.
Yep, and that was a lower leg tackle, not a hip or thigh tackle. He would have probably run you over there. Did just enough to trip him up and keep him from scoring. His 3rd touchdown.
Yeah, shoulder pad level is not the appropriate place to tackle A.J. Martell. You got to go low on him and get his feet.
10:22 to go, first half. 14-7 Mason over Holt. Nick Wells in the shotgun. Is that Rodriguez next to him again?
Badgley.
He's going to throw it out to Badgley. He's got it. Inside the 15. Can he break a tackle? No, he can't. Number 27. Nice tackle by Jamel Island.
No yards on that play. Nice job. Open field tackle like that.
You know what? If you're Holt, you try to force a field goal attempt here. Colin Winters has a very good leg.
Actually lost a yard on that play.
Yeah, he did. It's going to be 2nd and 11 from the 14-yard line. 9:40 to go, second quarter. 14-7 Mason. A.J. Martell, 2 touchdowns for the Bulldogs. Jasavion Taylor, a 98-yard kick return to start the game. Both teams have 2 timeouts left, and Mason may have to use one here because they're a bit disorganized. Somewhat understandable. It is first game of the year.
Running out of time.
Under 5 seconds on the play clock. They get it away. Wells dropping to throw. Throws it out to the right. Caught. Touchdown.
Last second, he got it off.
Is that Badgley?
Well, complete to 0.
Nope. Cole Reese, number 0. A 14-yard touchdown. And Mason's up 20-7.
Reese has been the guy so far tonight for Nick Wells, the backup quarterback forced into the starting position here tonight. And he was going to get hit as well. He stood in there at the last second. Good rush late by the Rams. And Reese cut at the perfect time and got open just for Wells in the corner of the end zone.
Just enough of a separation to get the score. Wells will hold for Colin Winters. 9:10 to go. First half. Here's the kick. It's up, and it's good. So, with 9:10 to go in the first half of play, it's Mason 21, Holt 7. We'll take a 30-second timeout and come back. On the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage.
WVFN Lansing Sports Leader.
Brock Palmbos, Erik Love, Nick Wells. Through his first touchdown pass of the season, Cole Reese, the receiver, making the reception. 14 yards for a touchdown. Extra point by Colin Winters. Good. It's 21-7 Mason. I remarked during the break, it's a key drive here for Holt right here. Need to do something on this drive. Really, any point at all would be beneficial. Winters kicking off from left to right. Michael Amory and Jasavion Taylor are back for the Rams. Here's the kick. It's up. They're kicking it to Amory. No shock there. To the 5. To the 10. He goes over to the right side to the 15. Can he find some room? To the 20. He finds a little bit. Over the 25. Pushed out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. Good return there by Holt. They're in decent field position with 9:02 to go in the first half.
Kick return game has been pretty good for the Rams so far tonight. It's been their most positive thing. It's been their most effective thing, obviously, getting the kickoff return to start the ball game.
But now Mason's not kicking to Jasavion Taylor.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They kicked off to him twice. One was a touchdown, and one Holt ended up in the Mason end of the field.
So if you're the Rams, you got to make the adjustment. You got to try to figure out a way to get him the ball more.
And now
Cooper Benson heading to the sideline.
Going to the sideline. Not sure what's going on here. They're going to have to take a timeout. They have one timeout left, does Holt. Mason has 2.
I think it's an equipment issue because the referee told him something, and now he's heading over to a bag on the sideline.
Could be a mouth guard?
Possibly. They're pointing to the face area. I wondered if maybe there was a face guard issue or a mouth guard issue. It looks like it's mouth guard.
Yep,
that's what it was.
Mouth guards are required at the high school level. I think they're required in college, too. Optional in the NFL.
Obviously. Do any quarterbacks in the NFL wear a mouth guard? Very few.
Some do.
Very few.
And a lot of quarterbacks don't like it because the mouth guard interferes with the signal calling.
Yes. Can't think off the top of my head any that have. I'm sure there are some.
Matthew Stafford did for a lot of years with Detroit and now with the Los Angeles Rams. Ball on the 25-yard line. Go ahead, Doc.
He'd have to call the play ahead of time, wait, call it a signal, and then put it in the last second. And then hope that he can make those adjustments, like you said, with the mouth guard in.
9:02 to go, first half. Cooper Benson is back in the game. I formation behind him. LaDon Hatcher, the tailback in the I. 2 wide receivers to the right, and here we go. Handoff, Hatcher. Trying to go right side, not much there. Maybe a gain of 1, maybe a gain of 2.
Brandon Hatcher Jr. with the carry.
Everett leading Sexton 21-7 in the third quarter.
A.J. Martell, Caleb Vaughn.
Martell making a stop.
A.J. Martell making the tackle. Gain of 1 to the 26-yard line.
Offense has been few and far between for the Rams here so far. Last drive ended in an interception, which turned into another touchdown for the Mason Bulldogs.
Yep. I formation behind Benson. Wide receiver left, wide receiver right. Gets the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out to the right. He throws out to the right, overthrew his receiver. That was Michael Amory, who was out there, and now a late flag.
From the far side, not anywhere near the play.
Legal man downfield. Yep, legal man downfield for Holt. First penalty of the game on Holt.
Do you want to take that? You can decline that.
You know what? Because it was an incomplete pass, I'd make it 3rd and 9. That's just my decision. They're going to move him back.
Nope, they're going to take it back. There was a long discussion with Gary Houghton on the sideline and decided, let's push him back.
Later in the game, maybe you do that?
Yep.
Decline that?
Let him go to 3rd down instead.
Especially in a close game. Just a 5-yard penalty.
If they had picked up some yardage on that play or something, obviously you take that penalty. And you're right. If it's later in the ball game, you probably want the clock to run down in a close one. You just incomplete.
Or if it was a loss on the play, you certainly would decline the penalty, let the play stand. Yes. 8:13 to go, second quarter. Mason leading Holt 21-7. Benson in the shotgun. Looks like Hatcher next to him. 4 wide receivers. Fakes the handoff, throws it out to the left, and it's incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Jamel Island, but it was out too far out in front of him and incomplete.
Yeah, he was running wide receiver screen out there to the left side. He was running
too.
He was wide open. He was running towards the sideline. The ball was thrown more towards the middle of the field, and he just couldn't make contact with it.
Not the best of throws.
Yep, I think we've got a stoppage here.
Official timeout on the field.
Water break?
Yes. Yeah, I saw one of the athletic trainers for Mason, maybe the head athletic trainer. Oh, no, maybe this is more. And we've reached it, Brock.
And it's a lightning delay.
Well,
oh boy.
That's what we were worried about.
Delayed for 20 minutes at least.
Supposed to be 30-minute delay. They got to go to the locker room.
Third it is, yep.
So with 8:09 to go in the second quarter, it's Mason 21, Holt 7. Telling the fans to evacuate the stadium. We here can't really do that.
Yeah, they have to. People in the stands have to leave.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. We talked about this earlier in the ball game. It was supposed to be a 7 o'clock kickoff. They moved it back because of the heat, and now all of a sudden
it turned out they could have played at 7 o'clock, and we would have gotten to halftime.
At least, yeah. So now,
just unfortunate.
I know that's what happens. It had been, fairly pleasant up until yesterday. And then it got real hot again. And then today,
last night.
Last night, yep.
Goodness.
As the day went, yesterday in the morning, I went to my regular job, and it was fairly nice in the morning. And then it got warmer and warmer and warmer as the day went on, and then it got real hot by the end of the day, and then it stayed hot. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as hot as they thought it was going to be. Laughingly, you think about that. It was really hot, but still, it wasn't as bad. And unfortunately, when you get this kind of humidity, Brock, when a cold front comes in, that brings the storms with it.
Yep. Not the first time it's happened to us. It's happened to us a handful of times over the years.
Yep.
Really too bad.
I'm looking at the radar here on my phone real quick, and I can pull it up and see what it looks like. I have it set for Lansing right now, and it's raining in Lansing. There's a very small cell.
North of us.
But
Yep, lightning to the north of us.
Most of it is far, far north. I'm talking Greenville, Mount Pleasant, Saginaw. It's a very nasty-looking line way up top there, though. So I don't know. Is it moving this way? Yes,
it kind of looks like it is.
It's coming from the northwest.
We got more coming.
And it does not look good for the next 2 hours.
Oh, boy. Well, we're in a weather delay. It's not raining right now, but lightning was seen by one of the officials, and it's an automatic 30-minute delay. Automatic.
And then when there's another lightning strike, it resets the clock.
Yeah. So I imagine there's a possibility this game will have to be finished tomorrow.
Yeah, there are some severe thunderstorm watches in the area. Ingham until 1 a.m. tomorrow. And the heat advisory is until 9 o'clock. So about when the storms are supposed to start rolling in.
Okay.
Cooler air coming down from Canada, Brock, and it's bringing these storms. We want it to cool down, but
yes,
not right now.
So
we're hoping to get this ball game in.
Yep, 21-7, Mason leading Holt.
I can look at some scores for you online here.
Absolutely. Portland was winning
their
game.
It was
they were
at
up
halftime.
28-0. They were at the half.
It was 33-6, Portland leading over to LC right now.
That was the last one I had. Tim Stout texted me that one.
Okay, I just got that one on Twitter. Let's see if I can scroll down here and find something else for you. There was a delay between what was that? Olivet and Remus Chippewa Hills.
Okay.
They're playing each other. The sprinklers came on in the middle of the ball game when they resumed play.
There's something that doesn't happen too often.
Well, obviously, they don't usually play on Thursdays, so the sprinkler system was set to go off probably on a Thursday night like it usually does. And
they got timers on those things.
Yep. Nobody turned that one off in that ball game.
While you're looking for more scores, Doc, this game.
I got one more for you real quick.
Go.
How about this one, halftime? Hazlitt 10, DeWitt 7. Talk about DeWitt being maybe the number 2 team in the area, but Hazlitt right behind them.
Yep, not too far behind, at least going into the season. So, wow.
That's a surprising score at halftime.
That would be not the biggest upset, but it would be an upset.
It would.
And man, what a huge win that would be for DeWitt.
Closing on halftime, Corunna 33, Fowlerville nothing. And I think that's about all I got for you. Everything else is in different parts of the state.
Yep, and we'll do the best we can with updates and scores. We thank the Twitterverse for that one. Also want to thank Nathan Vandenberg for his help in getting us on the air tonight. Had computer problems tonight, but you know what? This is why you get here early and make sure especially for the opening night of the season. We thank Nathan Vandenberg for his help tonight. Dowding Industries presentation of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN, brought to you in part by Benedict Auto Body, the Body Doctor, Kitzmiller RV, the key to quality RVs. And by the way, Benedict Auto Body and Kitzmiller RV will join us next week as well as we do the Mason at DeWitt game. And of course, we thank the Greater Lansing Sports Authority, the Lansing Sports Commission. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. I know they had the World Horseshoe Pitching Championships back about a month ago at the Lansing Center, and that was a huge event, and they had a lot of people come over to watch the Lansing Lugnuts as they were playing at home that particular week, and it was a big deal. And I know just checking at lansingsports.org that the people with the World Horseshoe Pitching Federation, there actually is one. They were very happy with the turnout there. So, hey, these are the kind of events that the Greater Lansing Sports Authority, the Lansing Sports Commission goes after. They can make your next event your best event, like the World Horseshoe Pitching Championships. Plan on something greater. Find out more at lansingsports.org. And we thank our title sponsor, Jeff Metz and Dowding Industries, recognizing the effort and commitment athletes give to the sport of football. Always interested, and they are always interested in individuals that have the drive and desire to be successful in work and in life. Check them out at dowdingindustries.com. You may find a successful future here.
This is not a knock on this, by the way. The Horseshoe Pitching Championship sounds like something you would see on the Ocho. ESPN 8 when they make a joke about that, but they bring it back every year.
Yeah, they bring it back every year.
And it actually has a lot of interesting things out there, and I watch it every year, at least some of it.
Yes. There's sports out there that you didn't know they had an International Federation. Well, Joey Chestnut.
Yes.
The world champion eater was here in Lansing, and he established the world record for eating olive burgers. Yes. 13 olive burgers eaten in 5 minutes. There wasn't a official world record for that, according to the International Federation of Competitive Eating. There actually is one.
Of course.
So you just never know. And I got to tell you, greatest guy in the world. Nice guy. He could have big timed, everybody. Hey, I'm Joey Chestnut. I'm the hot dog eating world champion.
I got 8 billion yellow belts.
Yeah.
Well, the yellow mustard belt.
15, but who's counting? Yeah. And he brought it actually to the ballpark. Yeah, it was really cool. Really nice guy by all accounts.
That's what I heard. I heard he stuck around after the ball game. He didn't have to either.
Half hour after the game. Yeah.
He was not contractually obligated to stay.
No, he was not. But
he could have left in halfway through the game or something like that, and he stuck around the whole time.
Stayed the whole game. And signed autographs, took pictures with any fan who wanted it, and
that's cool.
It was really cool. As far as this game goes, Mason leading 21-7. We are in a lightning delay, and you just took a look at the radar. That's what I wanted to say, and it's not looking good.
No. It's not here yet, but it's on its way. It's coming from the northwest, and it's sweeping down. Like I mentioned, there was a very meteorologist here. There was a line of storms in the Mount Pleasant, Greenville area that it was descending upon the Ingham County here soon in the next half hour to 45 minutes.
Sounded like Andy Provenzano or Darren Rockwell.
Well,
nice job.
Nowhere near that, but nevertheless, there are storms heading in this direction. They are not here yet. There was a very small cell in the Lansing area, and that's probably where they're seeing that. Just north of us, there was a lightning strike. Must have been something out there.
And if the officials see it,
that's it.
That's the rule. That's the rule. Jeff Kimberly told Tim Stout that, and I think I just saw a flash of lightning too. So it's getting closer, and I would say there's a better than average chance that we are going to be postponed until tomorrow.
Unless they're going to play it at 11 o'clock at night, which usually they don't.
They don't like doing that.
No, they don't like doing it that way.
And it is a school night for Holt. They do have to go to school tomorrow.
I'm looking at the current weather here.
82
in the area.
degrees right now.
It says 82 feels like 93.
Yeah,
though.
well, it feels all a 93. I'll tell you that right now. Why don't we take a 30-second break right now? We'll come back, go over some of the other scores around the mid-Michigan area, and we'll do that coming up on the other side of this 30-second break. It's Mason 21, Holt 7, 8:09 to go in the second quarter, but we're in a weather delay. 30-second break, and we're back. You're listening to Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football on the game 730 AM WVFN, your trusted source for high school sports coverage.
Lansing sports leader, WVFN.
Brock Palmbush, Erik Doc Love to a quickly emptying Mason High School football field. Mason leading Holt 21-7, but we are in a lightning delay. We're in a weather delay, and people are leaving the stadium. They are required to leave the stadium, and we may be the only ones in here in the press box. Oh, there's the lightning.
Yep.
30 more minutes. Yep.
So it's 8:34 right now. 9:04 will be
At
the
the
earliest we will be able to start another ball game.
But looking at the radar as you have, it's not looking good.
No. We want to stay positive, but we also want to be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Unless those storms come through real quick and blow out in 20 minutes.
And you know what? And we've seen
It
storms
happens.
like that happen like that.
They can pick it up, blow through real quick.
And then, once it gets east of us, voila, we can finish. So, you just hope for the best. And as far as this game go, Mason pretty much dominating, the play here at Mason High School, up 21-7. Let's do the scoring summary here.
Okay.
Holt won the coin toss. They received, and Jasavion Taylor returned the opening kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown. The extra point was good, and it was 7-0 Holt 15 seconds into the game. And remember, Doc, Taylor almost let the ball go out of bounds. He picked it up just before it went out of bounds right here on the near side of the field. He picked it up, just weaved his way through the Mason kick coverage team, and went for a touchdown. All Mason did after that, they received the kickoff. 4 plays, 65 yards. A.J. Martell had 4 carries, and he finished up with a 2-yard touchdown run, 10:20 to go, first quarter. Extra point good, tied at 7 at that point. After there was a Holt punt, there was a Mason turnover. And there was a Mason turnover and then a Holt punt and a couple of Holt punts. A.J. Martell, 14-yard touchdown run, finished off a drive right at the end of the first quarter, 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. Extra point good, 14-7 Mason. And then after Holt was stopped on downs, Nick Wells threw to Cole Reese, 14-yard touchdown pass. Extra point was good at the 9:10 mark of the second quarter, and it's 21-7 Mason at that point. And Holt's got the ball right now, 3rd and 14 from their own 21-yard line, and that's when the lightning was seen. And you know what? We saw lightning just like literally a minute ago, Doc. They wouldn't have played much longer.
No, it's thundering and lightning. You can hear it right now.
So, and there's more lightning. More lightning. Yeah, it's right on top. Pretty much right on the front edges, right on us right now. 1 penalty for 5 yards for Holt. 4 penalties for 40 yards for Mason. Each team's committed 1 turnover so far in this game. And, we'll stay on the air until we get confirmation one way or another that this game's going to be finished or it's going to be delayed until tomorrow. If it is delayed until tomorrow, we'll be unable to carry the remainder of this game,
unfortunately,
because of Detroit Tigers commitments, and we're carrying the last preseason game for your Gridiron Heroes, the Detroit Lions. We're your home for Lions football. The game 7:30 AM WVFN, and simulcasting this year on 94.9 MMQ. Pre-game coverage is at 7 o'clock. Kickoff is at 8 from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers, the team that gave the Lions the bad loss on Christmas Eve last year. This preseason game, so it doesn't mean quite as much.
No.
But
any starters even play?
Exactly. You really wonder if some of them, a lot of them.
I mean,
whether a lot of them play or
Goff
not.
hasn't played at all in the first 2 ball games.
No, he has not. No, he hasn't. And this field has now been cleared, and more lightning.
Yep, lots of it.
You know what? And with the helmets and with all the metal that's around here, there's no decision. You have to clear the field.
Mm-hmm.
You have no choice. Looking at the line of storms here.
Yeah, it's getting closer, and the cells around us have grown. There was a very small one when we first had gone to this weather delay,
Yep.
and there are several more now.
So we'll wait this out, and we'll wait until we get an official word whether it's going to be. I'm just predicting we're going to be delayed until tomorrow.
More than likely, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to push through until well after 10.
It's just unfortunate, Doc.
It is. You hate to have to
Yep.
start a ball game and then finish it the next day. It's tough on the kids. It's tough on everybody. People have to come back, and not everybody's available. Like us, unfortunately, we unfortunately won't be able to come back for it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
there's, it's just tough to try and pick things back up after you hyped up and you're ready
Yep.
to go, and you start playing the ball game, and then you got to stop and you got to pick it up another day. So
Not unprecedented. You just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
See it happen, though. All right. Well, you know what? We'll take a time out here. We will take a 6-minute break, and you know why? Because it's going to be the season premiere. You heard it in the pregame show, but it's the season premiere, the first episode of the season of This Week in High School Sports with John Ross.
Welcome to the 2023-24 school year, and welcome back to This Week in High School Sports. We'll be with you for the next 26 weeks, getting you caught up on the biggest stories from across the state in the high school sports world. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. The start of a new year brings a lot of questions, especially for the families of freshmen or students starting their first year of high school in Michigan. Who plays who? What was the score of last night's game? What are people talking about? Just what is going on here? Well, there's an easy way to find out the answers to all of those questions and more. Make sure you check out MHSAA.com. The site was redesigned a year ago, and now MHSAA.com sees over 10 million visits annually. It's the best place to go if you're looking for a score, a schedule, a story, NPR rankings, and more. Plus, it's been optimized for mobile use, which makes submitting scores on a Friday even easier. Looking to connect on social? We have you covered there as well. The MHSAA's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X accounts are all updated throughout the week with important news for everyone involved in high school sports. Follow us and stay current with all the happenings from around the state. The first week of action is in the books, and with that brings us our first game balls of the year. Pinckney's Evan Lofwright started the cross-country season out with a win. The senior was first in a dual meet with Brighton, but Brighton came out victorious on the team side. Ellie Wilcox helped lead Boyne City to a Pelston Invite volleyball title. The Ramblers were perfect on the day, winning all 6 matches and 12 sets they played in. And to Muskegon Reese Puffer senior Liam Smith, he poured in 4 goals in an 8-0 season-opening soccer win over Ludington.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Director of Officiating Services, Sam Davis.
The first week of high school football season is always exciting and sometimes confusing. Here are some, not all of the differences between the high school game and what you see on Saturdays and Sunday. In high school, there's no such thing as an uncatchable ball when judging pass interference. It is a penalty if there is illegal contact, whether the ball is catchable or not. In overtime, high school teams start with the ball on the 10-yard line, not the 25 like in college. And in high school overtime, you're only able to get a first down by a penalty. And at no time is a high school team required to go for 2 points. And on extra point plays, if the defense gains possession, the try is over. The defense cannot return the ball for 2 points.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. All summer long, MHSAA.com has highlighted former high school standouts who have used past athletic experiences to help shape their post-high school lives. The series is called Made in Michigan and provides updates on some familiar names. Like Brent Gates, the current baseball coach at Grand Rapids Christian, was a two-time All-State selection on the diamond at Granville. He played at the University of Minnesota before the major leagues and now has led the Eagles to 3 baseball state titles. Or Ariel Breaker, the current assistant basketball coach at the University of Minnesota. She helped Grosse Pointe North win a Class A state title in 2008. A 3-sport athlete at GPN, she finished 3rd for the 2010 Miss Basketball Award, and she played collegiately at Notre Dame before coaching at Lehigh, Oakland, South Dakota, and West Virginia, and now with the Gophers. To get caught up on all the Made in Michigan stories, check out MHSAA.com. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Brock Palmbush, Erik Doc Love back here at Mason High School. We are in a weather delay, lightning delay. Rain's starting to come down. It's been thundering and lightning now for about 15, 20 minutes, something like that, Doc?
At least.
Yep. And Mason is leading 21-7 and over Holt. And just taking a look at the radar, not looking promising for tonight. It got to level with you. It doesn't look like we're going to finish this game tonight.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten an official word yet. If and when we do, we will obviously let you know. But in the meantime, you got some scores, I guess, via the Twitterverse.
Halftime also in lightning delay. Grand Ledge leads West Ottawa.
West Ottawa.
Yep, 17-7 in that one. Let's see here. Hazlitt up on DeWitt 10-7. That's a third quarter delay. They're also in a weather delay right now. I don't think I have anything else for you right now. Portland was leading at half. It was 33-6. Yes, Portland leading over to LC 33-6 at halftime.
Yep. And Everett, I believe, was leading Sexton 28-0.
Okay. I don't have anything else for you on the Twitter.
They were in the third quarter. So it's just we play the waiting game, but there's been no official word, anything like that where we're going to be coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But because they do have to wait a certain amount of time.
I just got an email from the DeWitt folks. Inclement weather, game is halted due to weather. Currently, lightning delay, 8:39 left in the third. Updates as they occur. So they're in a delay.
Yep.
Just like we are. But it's not going to get any better for a while here.
No, it's not. And it is a school night for Holt. Holt has already started school. So they're not going to wait probably, an hour, I would say?
Yeah, at least. I'm looking at the current weather. Hail likely in 16 minutes.
Excuse me.
That is not good.
No, it isn't. We do want to thank Dowding Industries for being our title sponsor this season for high school football. Sponsoring our presentation, Jeff Metz and his great crew. Dowding Industries presentation of high school football brought to you in part by Benedict Auto Body, the Body Doctor. They'll be joining us next week when we do the Mason at DeWitt game. Kitzmiller RV, the key to quality RVs. They'll be with us next week, as will the Greater Lansing Sports Authority. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater. Find out more at lansingsports.org. And by our title sponsor, Dowding Industries, recognizing the effort and commitment athletes give to the sport of football. And they're always interested in individuals that have the drive and desire to be successful in work and in life. Check them out at dowdingindustries.com, and you may find a successful future here. Just add another 30 minutes to it because of another lightning delay.
It's pretty much consistent almost.
Yeah, it is now.
There's another one. It's more rumbles of thunder.
How many? They like to wait, 90 minutes or so before making any kind of a call. So it's going to be another be another hour before they figure out what to do. And I would guess they'll be coming back tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
More than likely. We've been in a delay for, what, half an hour roughly?
Close to it.
Yeah.
Close to it already. They have cleared the stadium. I believe we're the only ones that are in the stadium right now, outside of the emergency vehicles, down to the southeast portion of the stadium.
The Holt guys were next to us for a little bit, and they took off even too.
Yep.
So,
well, you know what? With the equipment that we have, we're staying right here, unfortunately. So Mason's winning it 21-7. Obviously impressed with A.J. Martell. Some first game jitters, some mistakes that were made, that have been made. 4 penalties for 40 yards and a turnover by Mason. Coach Gary Holton won't be happy with that, but he's got to be happy that they look bigger, they look stronger, they look like they're the better team. But it's 21-7, and you never know.
Yeah, you're right. Mason's looked real good. They have had some penalties, but the run game.
Yep, 8:09 to go in the second quarter. Holt will have the ball. They have actually turned the scoreboard off, and I saw one of the stat guys literally write down score, time, play, and I think it was what, second down?
I think so.
Second or third down. But 8:09 to go in the second quarter, and we are in a weather delay, and the storm is here. It started raining about 5-10 minutes ago.
Not very hard. I don't know that
it's
even raining anymore, but it was for a second there.
So
we play the waiting game.
We play the awaiting game. Next week, though, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be Mason at Hazlitt for the top 2 teams in the area.
Mason at DeWitt. You said Hazlitt.
Did I say Hazlitt? Well, Mason does play Hazlitt here at Mason later on in the season in CAAC Red play. But we've been looking forward to Mason at DeWitt all off season. Kudos to both schools for willing to play each other. Preseason, both in the top 10 in Division 2. In Division 3, rather, and they will be playing each other, and we'll be there next week. Pre-game coverage at 6, and kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. So we will,
hopefully,
unless we have another issue with weather. Tim Stout told me earlier today that Andy Provenzano said we're going to have an issue with lightning and weather, and I'm like, oh no,
it's not what you want to hear.
No, it isn't.
And that's where we're at right now.
And that's where we're at, and. We'll stay on until we get an official word. What's going on, and if/when they resume this game. You got to think they're going to resume this game tomorrow, probably at 7 o'clock. We don't know. No official word has been made as of yet.
There's one more person in the press box. I was going to go ask him if maybe he had any information.
Well, you know what? Let's take a break here, and we will come back. It's Mason 21, Holt 7. We're in a lightning delay, and we'll take I believe a 2-minute break, and then we will come back. You're listening to Doubting Industries' presentation of high school football on the game 7:30 a.m. WVFN East Lansing.
The love of the game draws us to sports as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The game, 7:30 a.m.
And now the rain is coming down. Welcome back to Mason High School. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Mason leading Holt to 21-7. We're in a lightning delay. We have been for, close to a half an hour now. Looked at the radar, not looking promising as to whether we're going to finish this game or not. It's really too bad, Doc.
It is.
We've been looking forward to this game, looking forward to the season starting, and then this happens.
And it generally happens week 1 or 2 when we get this. And, starting it's August usually. That's when it happens. Yep. And it had been fairly decent weather-wise early in the week and over this past weekend, and then all of a sudden it started getting real warm yesterday and not getting too nice and got real hot, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Let me go with some other scores here
Okay.
around the Mid-Michigan area. Grand Ledge leading Holland West Ottawa 17-7 at the half. Let's see. You got that one. Hazlitt over DeWitt at the half. Did they get to the third quarter?
Yeah, they're in the third quarter. 8:39 left in the third. They are in a delay, obviously.
10-7. Corunna leading Fowlerville 33-0 at the half. Everett leading 21-7 in the third quarter. Waverly leading Lansing Catholic 14-7. They were at the half. Portland was leading over at Elsie 26-0.
It was 33-6.
Yeah, 33-6. Yeah, this is just the scores I had from Tim Stout. Fowler was winning 30-14 at the half in their contest. All these games I've just mentioned in a weather delay.
Yep. Nobody's playing right now, most likely. Or at least not around here.
No, we have not gotten an official word from the Mason athletic director, the Mason administration, so on and so forth, but
they've taken their cameras down. They've closed all the windows in the press box. We are here. We might be the only people left in the press box now. The Mason people were here for a while.
Yep.
That's when we went over and talked to them during that commercial break to find out if they heard anything yet.
Yep.
Nothing yet, but I'm still waiting.
It's not looking promising. Yeah, the Mason athletic director is going to be getting on the phone here with the officials and making a decision, because we've looked at the radar. It's not looking good.
Nope.
Looks like they're going to finish at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and it's just unfortunate, Doc. It's unfortunate that things like this happen, but there are rules in place. There's a protocol in place to go over what to do in case things like this happen.
Got to keep everybody safe.
Yes, including us, because
we're riding this one out in the press box.
We're going to ride this one out. We can't really go anywhere because with the equipment that we have, with an electrical storm around, not too safe.
No.
As we get to the 9 o'clock hour, I want to let you know you're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN East Lansing, a Town Square media station. Let's take a break, and we'll come back. Maybe we'll have an update for you, and if necessary, and it looks like we're going to, we'll join ESPN Radio already in progress. But let's take a break, and we will come back. You're listening to your trusted source for high school sports coverage. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN East Lansing, a Town Square media station, and we are brought to you tonight and all season long by Dowding Industries, by the Greater Lansing Sports Authority, and tonight and next week by Benedict Auto Body and Kitzmiller RV. Take a break, and we will come back on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
WVFN.
Brock Palmbos, Erik, Doc Love back here one final time. We cross the 9 o'clock hour here. Mason leading Holt 21-7. We're in a lightning delay, and it's not looking good whether we're going to finish tonight. As you took, Doc, you took a look at the radar. It's going to be here for a couple of hours, and a couple of hours from now is 11 o'clock, and they're not going to play. They're not going to restart this game at 11 o'clock.
It's going to be here for at least an hour. I'm looking at the weather forecast right now, and it says, I'm just in Lansing in general. We're close enough to it. It says hail likely in 15 minutes. And current weather, obviously thunderstorm. It's lightning and raining hard here right now in Mason.
Yep.
Dangerous humidity. Obviously, it's very humid out right now. But the radar-wise, it's out there. There's a lot of it out there. It's coming from the northwest, and that cold front's rolling in, and it's here. And Brock, I'll show you my phone right now.
Yeah.
And it's
right on top of us.
There's a lot of it. So
yeah.
It's coming from the northwest, like I said. It looks like Ionia area. St. John's is going to get hit here pretty soon. Elsie's got it right now. Greenville has gotten the back end of it, and as the rain intensifies here in Mason.
Yep.
But, it's heading right for us, Brock. And we will be getting stormed on for a while now.
Stormed on, yeah. It's heading right for us.
Yep.
What movie did I see that from?
Well, at South Park, they use that. It's coming right for us all the time.
Yeah.
My mother just messaged me and said the tornado sirens are going off in St. John's, so that's not good.
Take cover.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
If you are in Clinton County right now,
take cover. Absolutely. You can hear it right through our microphones. This is live radio, and we crossed the 9 o'clock hour. You know what? We're going to finish up here. We're going to send it back to ESPN Radio, and we're just going to go under the assumption that we're not going to finish tonight.
I mean,
we'll be here.
We'll hang out. We have to.
We'll hang out here until we get an official word. We may come back on the air and jump on just for a moment to say, hey, we got a final decision. We're either going to finish this game tonight or we're going to finish the game tomorrow at 7 p.m. So that's going to do it for us here right now. We'll send it to ESPN Radio right now as we're past the 9 o'clock hour. Brock Palmbos and Erik Doc Love from Mason High School. And Mason leading 21-7 with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. We'll send it back to ESPN Radio right now. And we'll come back once we get a final word here as to what's going to happen. You're listening to High School Football on the game 730 AM WVFN. We will join ESPN Radio already in progress after this commercial timeout.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.